around to just share the space and all that. So I want to begin. For those who don't know the story, let me share uh, like two of the tweets on this space so you can follow and see what exactly triggered this. So let me look for that. Those two tweets I've made on this and the exact video. I will share the video that okay, one, so you can see that one. I've shared one of the tweets. You see people discussing some of those things, some of those issues there too. And then let me look for the exact video. I think I shared it on my page too. So basically, it's a 911 call. A Nigerian man, he called 911 and then he reported himself that he has killed his wife. And then in the call, you can hear him talking to the wife, talking about, "Oh, I brought you from Nigeria. I turned you to who you are," saying so many things. I paid for your, maybe paid for the tuition for the wife to become a nurse and all that. And then he said, "So you became successful now, and then you are talking to me this way, you are doing this, your parents are doing that." He was saying a lot of things, but he has shot the wife. He shot her dead. And then 911, the woman on the 911 call was saying, "Drop the gun, can you do something, do this?" And of course the police came in during the call, and it happened that I think they shot him, because from the 911 call, you can hear the fact that they actually shot him. They gave instruction. Of course, American police officers, when they come in, they shout instructions at you: "Drop the gun, do this, do that." If you don't obey those instructions, within 2-3 seconds, the person is gone. And that was it. So you could hear the gunshot. And even from the video, you could see paramedics coming with their whatever to carry the corpse and all that. So, and that's very unfortunate. So I was disturbed. I did, because it felt so strange to me. Like, Nigerian man, you love your wife, you brought him to the US. What went wrong? What happened? So I tried to search online to see, okay, what's more to the story. And I was shocked to find out that there are actually more Nigerians. There are actually more Nigerians who who um who have fallen in that same situation and killed their wives. And in fact, while searching, while looking at all those things, I discovered that it's been more of nurses. Nigerian man, wife become a nurse, will not spend time at home, become more successful in court, has more money, and then they kill. In fact, I read of one. This guy went to the wife's parents, killed the wife, killed the mother-in-law. Then, of course, police were searching for him. Then went into a parking lot, parked there, and committed suicide. He killed himself too. And the question is, if you read this my tweet here, I mentioned the fact that what could have led to this point? Why did the situation degenerate up to this point? Is it the situation of submission in marriage? Or, and if you have been following me for a while, remember there was a tweet I made some times ago. Let me share the tweet and you see the people's reaction, where I started talking about, if your wife starts earning more than you, can you handle it? Let me look for that tweet. Wife earning more than you, and you see different reactions. You see people reacting differently. Some people actually said they cannot take it, like the wife cannot be more successful in court than they are in marriage. And different people, some other people have different opinions, that yeah, the wife can be more successful, is for the family. The question is, how did we get to that point? How do we mitigate against such? Now, let me, for those who don't know how the US work, and so that when you are talking, because I want to hear your opinion, when you are talking, you will know how to channel your thought. And I've seen someone who experienced divorce before here in the US too, so I know how things are. Now, the way it works: number one, the rights of women are protected here in marriage compared to what we have in Nigeria. For example, all those people beating their wives in Nigeria, you just see a man beat the wife, do whatever. It can happen here. Okay, you have 911 call just reporting the man at all, and then there is an evidence of domestic violence, the man is gone. The man is gone. Okay. Even when divorce happens in marriage, yeah, most of the states they have laws that protect the woman, so that when divorce happens, it's most likely your income is split in two automatically. Like, especially if the woman is not working, your income is split in two. You pay her every month. That's just the way it continues. Different states have different varieties to this law. So in a way, women are protected in that sense. But the question is this: is it that the guys become, my theory? I want to put out a theory. Is it that the guy became, or the guys, the men? Because I read about like 6, 7 cases, and it's not even recent. These things have been happening as far back as 2008, from what I read online, as far back as 2008. One, in fact, one of the stories I read about, the guy brought out a bat, baseball bat, and used it to hit the wife's head until the lady went passed out, where died eventually. Used beating bat, hit the head, and all that. Another one tied the wife to a car and drove her around. You understand? Drove her around. I think two happened in Texas that I read about. Another one just went, I think, I can't remember if she has divorced the wife. Another one, the guy just drove to the wife's car. The wife was going for a party, and then the wife guy just drove to the car and shot her in the car. A Nigerian shot the wife in the car. So you see that they are threatened by the success of the wife. If you follow that tweet, oh, I've not shared it. Okay, when someone starts talking, I will try and search for the tweet and share it. Is it that they are threatened by the success of the wife? Because it's very possible. Wives, nurses, they earn a lot. Okay, they earn a lot. It's just the way it works here. They earn a lot. Are they threatened by the wife's success? Is it that the submission in quote is not there? The wife does not submit again to the husband? Is it that um, what could have gone wrong? What could have happened? Why? What went wrong? Men who killed their wives, successful wife, Nigerian men who killed their successful wife. What went wrong? Popular opinion. Let me have your voice first, and then while I begin to quickly search for that tweet and then add it to this space, so that people can see these questions. When I've asked about success before, you can see how some Nigerian men think. Some Nigerian men, some who said they cannot allow their wives to earn more than them. It's in that way you see that those comments. Some said it's not just possible; their wives cannot earn more than them. They can't, So popular opinion. Let's start from you.
Okay, good afternoon from Nigeria. Can you hear me clearly?
Clearly, yes, very clear.
Okay. First of all, I've been following this particular issue, not on this particular instances, but there have been several instances like, I think a video trended some weeks back where a man in the UK was having issue with the wife. He brought the wife home from Nigeria to the UK, and at the end of the day, the woman was just behaving somehow to him. And at the end of the day, the woman ended up sending him out of the house. First of all, I believe it's about the mentality that one is using to get into marriage. Because now, what's the mentality of this husband and wife? Yeah, many people come back to Nigeria from the US to get a wife and then take the wife down to America. At the end of the day, this woman started developing some kind of attitude that she was not probably having proud to the marriage.
Yeah.
And the first thing is the man. When it comes to about relationship, what I believe is that both partners should have caught for a period of time. They should be able to understand each other. Because understanding is very much important. Because when you don't have mutual understanding, then at the long run, you're going to have an issue. Some people just date for a short period of time, and before you know it, boom, they get into marriage. And say, well, let's take it for God. God is going to take control. But most times, it's always important for me to understand the attitude of the person that we're getting into marriage with. And it's pretty much important. Because I'm very sure that most marriages, some people just come to the country and just pick up the wife and then take the wife. And when this woman starts developing a certain attitude, the man is now unable to manage that particular attitude. And now it leads to a lot of things. It leads to a lot of, in fact, at times it might not lead to killing. Sometimes it leads to broken home. And at the end of the day, it ends up affecting the children. So at the end of the day, what I just feel is that before anyone should get into marriage, because the marriage is not something that you get in and get out. It's something that you need to give it a second thought and probably take more time and study the person that you want to get into a relationship. Fine, I know people can change, but at the same time, study the attitude of the person you want to get into a relationship with. That's just my view for now.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I just shared the tweet where I asked the question on Twitter some weeks ago. Um, I said, "Will you feel threatened if your wife is earning more than you and does not need to ask you for money to get things done?" And you see, if you look at the comments from the tweet, it's just, in fact, one said, "Unfortunately, yes, most women know too they get sense." And this another one said, if she carries me along, fine, but if she doesn't, it will naturally spring up concerns. Do Nigerian men actually feel this way? Now, of course, one of the questions I've always been asking too when it comes to marriage is this. When it comes to marriage, there's this African mentality, Nigerian mentality, which relegates women just to be at home, and then you say, oh, the woman should just be at home, should not seek her own career, the woman does not deserve to have dreams of her home, let her just stay with at home, let her stay with the children, take care of the children, that's what the wife should do, that's the job of the wife, and all those stuff. No, there's that mentality. And you see, most men in Nigeria, for example, or Africa, let me say Africa generally, are able to do this because sometimes you have your family members around, you have your parents around who can help you with all these things. Maybe the woman, okay. So I have people from YouTube who are saying I should. Okay, I'm streaming this on YouTube too. So I have people from YouTube who are saying I should share the Twitter link. Sorry, let me just quickly respond to that. So you have people around who can help with all these things. Uh, in your home country, for example. Sorry, just quickly want to share this to the person asking on Twitter. So those who can help with all these things in Nigeria. But when you come to US, for example, you discover that both parties need to work, because if one man is working, you don't even have enough for the family. It's a lot. You have your children, maybe they want to go uh do pay school fees, pay all this. You need more money to cater for all these things. You don't have a parent who will stay with you with your children. You have to pay for childcare and all those stuff. So let's say the woman starts working. The nurses, for example, they start doing night shift. The man goes to work in the morning. By the time he's coming back, the woman is going to work too. The man has to take care of the children. Okay, and then you come back and all those things. The man, maybe some people in Nigeria, they will say, I always eat fresh food. I can't eat anything that is frozen and all these things. And in US, even if you cook every day, utilities will tell on your body and all those things, on your finances. And you have to do things. You just have to, it has to be a partnership. But many men who are already used to the fact that, oh, they are the king of the home. I can't wash the plate. I can't take care of the diaper. I can't clean the baby's poo. I can't do this. I can't wash plate. I can't cook. What happens? How do you cope in this situation? Sometimes these are the things that lead to stuff like this. You think, oh, the woman is no longer submissive because you are doing some of those jobs. And it can also be the case that some women actually just get the money, they become so uh they have the money, they have more than the husband, and then they become pumped up and they say, yeah, I don't need my husband to provide again. I don't need my husband to do this again. When this thing actually should be partnership. I know people still have different opinions about this, but yes, I want to hear from you. What do you think went wrong that will make a man to who married the wife you claim you love, and then the last thing you could think of is shooting the woman? That's the last thing you could think of: shooting the woman, killing the woman, doing all sorts. One even went kill the mother-in-law, killed the whole family. In fact, there was one that even killed the children. I can't remember. There was one that dropped the baby they had in the police station, in an hotel while he was running away from the police. dropped the child in an hotel, went into a parking lot, killed himself, and all that. What could drive a man to that level? What could drive a man to that level? How do we mitigate against this such that we don't? Because many people are thinking of Japa now. I tell you, marriage situation in foreign countries, US, UK, is different from what you have in Nigeria. It's different. Now, of course, I grew up with the mentality that men have a part to play in homemaking. Okay, that's the way I grew up. I grew up seeing my dad do everything basically that my mom can do. Okay, I grew up seeing my dad prepare food, do pounded yam, fetch that when we were still staying in a place where we had to fetch water. I grew up seeing my dad fetching water. I started fetching water, joining my dad, okay, and then joining my mom, my dad, everything. I started cooking very early. I started doing all these things very early. My mom taught me some of these things. My dad taught me some of these things. Grew up seeing my dad wash clothes. Sometimes mom will wash for him. Sometimes he wash himself. Sometimes he wash for even some of us. Sometimes so it just anyone can do it. That was where I grew up, and I saw it as yes, anybody can do it. But some people actually grew up with a sense of this is what a woman should do. The woman should wash my clothes. The woman should clean the toilet. The woman should sweep the house. The woman should take care of the children. Even if the woman is dying, she should do everything by herself. And when they come to the US and they see that the situation is basically different, come to UK, the situation is basically different. If your wife may not be at home if because sometimes some people came in through some methods and then they have to do some odd jobs. So your wife is not around 24/7. You are buying food, you are doing all those stuff. You have kids, you are powerless. Trying to take care of the children and all those. These are no excuses, but these are the experiences of people. How do mitigate against this? What could have gone wrong? So, Prince, you have the floor. You can speak.
All right, thank you so much, Samuel. Good afternoon, everybody. It's 2:14 p.m. here in Accra, Ghana. So, for me, well, would I feel threatened? I would want to answer the question first. What's on the jumbotron as to whether I would feel threatened if my wife is earning more than I do, and she doesn't actually manage to get things done. But I'm not going to feel threatened because I believe that the marriage relationship isn't a master servant relationship, so that the man becomes the master and then the woman becomes the servant.
Prince, it seems we lost you for some seconds there.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's back now. You are back now.
Yeah, I'm saying that for me, I think there's no way I'm going to get threatened if my wife is earning more than I earn, or my wife doesn't have to. She's not asking me for money for stuff to run the home and all of those things. I'm not going to get threatened because for me, I believe that the marriage relationship is not a master servant relationship where the man is the master and then the woman is the servant. But then we are all in it together to make sure that it actually works. I'm seeing that for most of us here who are Africans, the lady is not taught economic independence. So in the future, in the future, she feels that she has to depend on the man. And now the man too is also not taught how to do housework. In the future, he also feels that he needs servants who should be doing all of that for him and not he himself. So traditional gender roles also come to play in some of these things. We feel the woman's place is the kitchen, the man's place is to make ends meet, to pay the bills and all of that. And it is one of the reasons why most marriages are not working. It's one of the reasons why in marriages you see that they just got married for some few years and then one spouse is either dead and gone, or some of these issues come up because that balance is not there. That balance is not there, and I think it's high time that we as African men and our counterparts as African women, we all come to Georgia and then get to realize that what a man can do, a woman can do, and what a woman can do, a man can also do. So what if you found yourself abroad and then it is just you, the man? You don't know how to cook, you don't know how to wash, you don't know how to do some of these basic things. How are you going to even survive? Would you want to almost always be doing the restaurants out there, the eateries out there, or what? So some of these things, I think it is high time we really have this conversation. Society should start speaking about it. In the churches, in the mosques, it should be taught. Our men should be taught that our women are not our servants. We are not their masters, but then we are in to make sure that the marriage thing works. If your wife is pregnant and then you, the man, can cook, even if it is indomie or spaghetti or something, do it, and then you guys should eat. Your woman is tired. It won't hurt to wash your laundries. If you go out, it will not be written on your face that you are that type of man who does the laundry at home, or you are that type of woman who is even paying the bills, because at a point your man feels like, oh, he's not really earning so much. He would want to rather use his money for something else, in a bid to still make sure that the family is still being run by the both of you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Prince. Thank you, Prince. Um, Thank you so much. Now, the question is, should there even be a stigma attached to a man who is doing household chores, who is doing all these things at home, who is cooking at home, who is doing laundry at home? Should there be? Now, of course, I cook at home, right? But my wife cooks better than me. So there are some things I will not cook, that it will be my wife that will have to cook it. Like sometimes what we even do, because the situation in US, you want to do it things, you can be very busy and you want to prepare ahead. You cook a lot of stuffs and put it in the refrigerator, and there are things you just prepare almost every day. Should that be a stigma? Should there be a stigma attached to this? Yeah, as the man, you are doing all these things, you are beating your child. It's your child. Should there be a stigma attached to it because you are a man? This is your child. You are cleaning diapers, you are doing all these things. Should there be a stigma attached to it? See, where I was living before, you will hear, or let me just say, I know someone. You will hear the wife is in the kitchen. The wife is in the kitchen backing their two children. The wife is backing a baby in the kitchen, and then the man is in the living room watching DSTV, and then the other child is messing up some things in the living room, and the man is still calling the woman who is cooking in the kitchen, who is backing a baby, to come and take care of the second child in the living room who is messing up. Do you want to kill that woman? What happens if the woman just suddenly dies, based on all this pressure that you are putting on this one? Do you want to kill the woman? So I think the way men sometimes now, in this particular situation of what went wrong, I'm not saying of course I will blame the man for killing. Why will you just kill? But I'm not saying there won't be things that the woman has done or has not done or whatever. I don't know the story. We don't know the story. So many things could have gone wrong, because I know a divorce case where what the woman was doing was just, the woman started fornicating. They started committing adultery. That the man got to know by installing camera in the hotel, all those stuff. That was how the man got to know, and the divorce process was messy. It's US, right? The divorce process we always tilt in a certain way, and then the man was angry. The man at the point even wanted to end everything, like in this same situation. Okay, so you don't have to. There's no, what do you call it now, stigma attached to you doing all these things. Okay, Donald, let's have you. You can unmute yourself. Let's have you, Donald. Donald?
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Donald.
21 from Nigeria. I just think we are deviating from the topic. Sorry to say that.
Yes, we deviated. That's true.
So I just want to go straight to the points, and we cannot stop these things from happening, because looking at the divorce rate in the US, you can see it's very high, because in the US, marriage is not a do or die affair. In Nigeria now, when a lady is 28 and above, the parents start questioning, like, when are you bringing your man home? Questions like that arise. And, we are, a marriage, to me, I see a marriage as an institution, like a black market. Like, no matter how the years of your relationship, this is a true story of someone who married a church girl. When I say the church girl, like, after the marriage, they're like a pastor and an evangelist. Now, after the marriage, the girl changed, turned out to be someone who doesn't want to, like, does not allow even the man to take responsibility of his younger ones anymore, to pay their school fees and all that. And that is the only person they have. Now, to me, if that such woman is, brought to maybe US or UK, to assist the wife, the husband, what is going to happen if she earns more than the husband. Now, let's take India as example. According to my research, I discovered that most of the Indian married women are working to feed the husband, and nothing of this is happening among them, even if it's happening like that's not even working. What I think to stop this is, it is better for you to marry in Nigeria before going to traveling out of the country. Firstly, know the attitude of your partner first. So you should be able to know if it's somebody you can bring, to that foreign country, because the constitution there is different from here. You can easily get divorced, go to court, get divorced, and the wife will not even get a dime. Even the child support, you understand what I mean? So difference. So what I think, possible, you maybe before you travel out, you should get married first. Like, if you understand your partner first, that okay, if possible, this person is earning more than I do, what is the attitude this person is going to put up? Because being frustrated in life can make you do things you can't even imagine. That after everything has gone wrong, you settle down, you now imagine, did I really do this? So to stay out of frustration, I think, is the first thing. And another thing, we can being in the foreign country, you can also, it is possible that you meet someone, you get married to, right? Now, you need to understand that the constitution bounding marriage over there is different from nature. Us already. So it's going to is careful every day, because the all binding marriage there, always favors the woman. So that's what I think. I just feel that better still, it's good to get married firstly in your home country. Understand that kind of woman, understand her way of life before going to, before taking her to any foreign country. And likewise too, the man too. For every woman, you need to understand, because like in UK now, you discover that some people jump out with the man going to school and the woman working. So you need to the woman to also need this aspect of understanding that this okay, what if I am now am I able to control myself? These questions that you need to ask ourselves, because we have the likes, like through this fact that I'm giving you, like the Indians, most of the men are not working, and even if they are working, they are earning less than the wife, because they're actually into IT and the like IT stuff for the for the company. And by 5 a.m., but even their mode of dressing doesn't change. So I believe you are living there, and you can get more facts about what I'm saying. Thank you.
All right. So to quickly respond to that, let me say I'm not sure I agree with the fact that you said most Indian men are not working, but I will research what you mean by that. But my question for you, I can see Saluomo of Devi here. I remember it. You are the one that shared that video. That was how I got to see that video. So I would love to have your opinion too. But question for you, Donald. Let's say you got married in Nigeria and you discover that, oh, this my wife that I've married. If she earns more than me, there will be trouble. First question: if an opportunity comes for her to be earning more than you, and then uh, you have to do something about it, will you block such opportunity? Number two, if you happen to have the opportunity of moving abroad, will you now prefer that your family stays in Nigeria? Because if your wife comes around, she can earn more than you, and then there can be trouble. Mind you, this is what you have in your mindset, not what has actually happened. This is what you felt could happen based on what you have seen. What would you do, Donald?
Yeah, thank you. It's a beautiful question. To me, I think prevention is better than cure. That is the way I see things. Anything can transpire, Okay, like the video that went viral, I heard something about the woman stopped the man from sending money to family, why the woman built house for her parents, questions like that. It actually happened to a little story that I just told you. The woman stopped that man from, taking responsibilities of his younger ones who are in higher institution, and that is the only person they have. Their parents are not working, they are old enough. Why the woman is helping her own, younger ones, each dime that the husband want to send out, the woman always question it. There are marriages like that. That is why I said marriage is something that is a black market. You don't know what you are buying. We only pray for luck. Good if you are lucky, yes. Good if you are lucky, you thank God. And if you are not lucky, you carry the cost. And with studies of with the help of counselors, you can go through. You can actually be successful. So that is it. To me, I must be sincere with my imagination, with my control it anymore. So it's better possible best to feed the family in Nigeria, like sending money home to make the family, introducing myself to what I might not be able to finish. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Before I have Oluomo of Debbie, Prince, I see you wanted to make a response to Donald while he was speaking, so you can quickly have the floor.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yes. So, what I wanted to also say, Donald, don't you think sometimes, though, I wouldn't not want you to sound biased. I think men do it, women also do it, where we portray certain characters, and then you think you really know us, but then you don't know us. Oh, when an opportunity comes, that is where you'd actually know our character. Sometimes we go like, oh, if you want to know the true character of your man, just give that man money. let the man get money, and then that is where you see the person's true character. Now, you can have a lady who is so angelic. You can have a man who is very, very gentle, so angelic, gentlemanly, and all of that. But then immediately the person gets the chance to enjoy a certain bit of success, the true nature of that man comes up. So in this case, it can be the woman coming down to get the man to marry her, and then both of them leave for abroad, or it could also be the man coming down to pick the woman. And now when they both are abroad, when the woman gets to experience life there, when the man gets to experience life there, and then see how things are being done over there, sees where he thinks he can take advantage of opportunities, there he would want to lord over the woman. There the woman would also want to lord over the man. So sometimes some of these things, I feel you should know the person first and foremost you are with, and then know the person's character, the person's moods, and all of that. Sometimes we ignore some of these red flags. So you can be with a woman who would never want to use the money for anything, even when clearly you know that she has money, but she would want you to use your money for everything, and she would even want to make demands. There is a classic example of a woman or a lady who is currently in my life, where this lady, if she comes to meet me eating, and then she's interested in the meal, and then I give her money, you are expecting that, oh, maybe she would buy the same thing or even lesser. But then she goes and then she buys more than that. So such a person, how would you even deal with such a person, where you end up in a marriage relationship, and then it comes to the point where she's even earning more than you?
All right, thank you, Prince. Oluomo of Devi, we can have you, sir.
Good afternoon, my leader. Good afternoon, Mr. Samuel. How are you, sir? You okay?
We thank God, very fine.
Good. Well, Nigerian men who killed their successful wives in the US, what went wrong? I think there's so many things we could say goes wrong as a Nigerian man. I think first and foremost, we only need to understand as a Nigerian man, once you get to abroad, once you get to maybe a Senna Clams airport, the lifestyle we think you're living in Nigeria ends at that airport. All these, maybe you're looking for, maybe your wife should be cooking you fresh food on a daily basis. It doesn't happen in diaspora. You understand? It doesn't happen in diaspora. There's a case I had recently in the UK. They just got to less than 6 months, and already they're fighting every day. In fact, the wife has moved out now. The husband from the States. The husband's complained that he wants fresh food every day. The wife said, no, I can't afford it. I've got to 12 hours shift. You want me to be eating fresh food every day? So the lifestyle you're living as a Nigerian man, once you get to maybe Heathrow Airport in the UK, or maybe get to JFK Airport in New York, or any Toronto airport, that lifestyle ends there. So welcome to a different world. Now, we need to understand our society, there's a big difference there. A lot of women in our society are married to men and even relationship with men because of financial security. Look at our economy in Nigeria, for example. You understand? Maybe you like it or not. Also, we should not forget that Nigerian women are treated like second-class citizens. You understand? Women are not self-empowered in our society. That's another problem we have. Two, controlling a lot of men in our society are controlling their women. In our society, you see, for example, a Yahoo boy beat up a girl, and the girl's eyes will be swollen and stuff. And then 2 weeks down the line, the same girl is back with that guy. Understand? I remember I saw when I was like, auntie, what's going on? This is domestic violence. One of my friends said to me, are you going to buy an iPhone 14? So let that go back. She's clearly going back to the guy who's buying an iPhone 14. Now, that's our society. Coming abroad, a lot of our men need to understand that when the woman is in abroad, you understand, abroad is a level playing field. You understand? Nobody's better than anybody. I've said it so many times myself. There's not like an alpha male abroad. If I'm living with my partner, auntie, as we they collect the end of the month, is 50-50. You earn maybe 3,000-4,000 pounds a month. Me too, I'm earning 3,000-4,000 pounds a month. All of us came as abroad to also. I'm not I'm the man of the house here. No. I'm the man of the house here. You'll be building house in Ikoyi, Binas and Bina Island. Me, I'm paying rent, paying bills on the name of I'm a Nigerian man. It doesn't happen. Now, I think a lot of us also have to change our narratives, you understand, as Nigerian men. And for me personally, if I have a partner who's earning more than me, I think it's a blessing, in my own opinion. I think it's great. I'm happy to see my partner progress. I'm happy to see her move forward. I think it's great, you understand. Now, the honest part is that a lot of men who've probably killed their wives in the US or even done something in the UK, when you look at their stories, you see that there's never no genuine love. And that's just, for me, it is. And a lot of them actually brought those women from back home into abroad. I mean, I've said it so many times in my spaces that I'm not a big on a long-distance relationship. I'm not saying it can't work for people, but it's likely to be a love scam. Understand? This is up on a daily basis. Sometimes, even sometimes some people send you DMs funny. I just like I said, Auntie, I mean, we have about 10 million men in Lagos. I mean, so none of the men in Lagos, the entire eyes. But I want one man with the London, the entire eyes. I said, thunder fire, you understand? So at the end of the day, we need to be smart, to understand that all these things are reality. Now, I think the truth is when you as a man, if you bring your wife to abroad, understand that you're gambling. Your gambling is 50-50. Because maybe you like it or not, Brother Samuel, once a lot of people get abroad, they change. That's just a simple thing about life.
True.
People change, you understand? So when you want to make that decision, is your choice. Understand that it's a gamble. It can work well for you. It might not work well. I'll give a good story of what happened in Derby here about 2 years ago. So a gentleman met this girl. I think they met on Facebook. Uncle Shola, his name is Uncle Shola. They met on Facebook and stuff. So he's been going to Nigeria. I think he went to Nigeria 3 times within 18 months. So the last time he was in Nigeria, what's it called? They do it like a mini introduction, blah, blah, and stuff. So don't forget, every time he goes to Nigeria within 18 months, he made the girl about 3 times. So they spend like 2 weeks together. Every time he goes about 2 weeks, I think 2-3 weeks every time in Nigeria. So after 18 months, he brought her to the UK here. Uncle Samuel, you don't believe that? I mean, this man is this Uncle Shula, I'm saying, he works in a Derby hospital. He's like a chef. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. working in a hospital chef, 6-7 days. This is hard work. So this is adding money. Only for him to bring the girl here after 4 months. The man just came back from work one day. The girl's nowhere in the house. He's not saying, what's going on? So he rang her phone is switched off. After 4 months. So the next time his friend told him that, you're the one that brought this girl to the UK. Go and report to the local police station to say there's a missing person, blah, blah, stuff. So the next thing, because there's so many stories, not everything comes to Twitter. So now, obviously, he went to report to the local, which is Derbyshire police station in Derby. Obviously, they make inquiries and stuff, and he works over here. So the next thing was, they check the camera, CCTV and stuff. So they ran the local taxi firm. So the taxi firm said, yeah. They had the job booked at that address around 12-something p.m. for so. Okay, no problem. Who was the driver who did the job? The taxi driver. They went to interview the taxi driver. He said, he dropped one black woman and she had about 3 suitcases. Where did you drop her? He dropped at Derby train station. No Allah. This country. They went to check the CCTV camera. So when they checked the TV camera and everything, I think around 12:47, they realized that this woman was pushing the suitcase on her own wheel. So the police now went back to Uncle Shola and said, your wife partner is not missing. She left on her own wheel. I mean, this is someone who's over 18. So over 18, you can't control people, understand. So people need to understand that when you bring someone abroad here, you're basically gambling. I mean, this man spent almost 8,000 to 9,000 pounds bringing her in. Now, obviously, after the police told him, she wasn't missing, they dropped the missing case. He ran his family. Remember, I said earlier on, they did a small introduction before he brought her to the UK after 18 months of dating. So he now told his brother. The brother now went to the family house. Your sister, blah blah. So the girl's sister now told us that no. They said our sister is not interested anymore. She's lost interest, blah blah. That she doesn't fancy me anymore, blah blah. But the 18 months that every time he comes to Nigeria, you didn't fancy me in Nigeria anymore. But as soon as you go to UK, less than 4 months, you realize that you didn't fancy me anymore. And don't forget that this 18 months, this guy was giving her sending money, school allowance, pocket money, normal stuff. Even from the sort of head, even paid for these girls' younger sister's school fees. I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Me, I've said it so many times. A lot of Nigerian men do something sometimes that you ask yourself questions that is, what exactly is wrong with you? You understand? In the world we live in now. Now, To cut the story short, apparently the girl moved to Manchester. Maybe she's living with another guy or whatever. This uncle I was saying to you, this guy was depressed. Through depression, he lost his job. Because these are both people don't understand. They can't be waiting for a partnership. They got rid of him because somebody else moved on. It was like a dream to him. This guy spent almost £10,000. This story I'm saying to you, don't come on Twitter. This happened here, man. Look, would that be here? So for me, this kind of guy now, which is Uncle Shola, you see, when you look at all these emotional finances, if this kind of guy found this kind of woman, that anger, it can turn on true.
That's true.
You get my point? It can turn on true. No one is stupid. And also to people too as well, it says some of our women too, do not use anyone. If you know that you genuinely don't love this person, you don't agree with them, do not use them. It can also cost you your life. Now, my advice to any Nigerian man is, before you bring your woman to abroad or whatever, understand you're gambling. You don't own her life. Understand? You don't owe her. That's the truth. I think we need to change that narrative as well as a Nigerian man thinking because you're married to a woman, you owe her. No. I mean, a lot of things in our society.
As an African man, there are Ghanaians on the space.
Yeah, good. Okay, good. Yeah, good. Yeah, all right, thank you, bro. Yeah. Like as an African man, we need to change our narrative to things, understand that. No, you don't owe nobody. Let's call a spade a spade. You can be married to someone 5-10 years, they can wake up one day and say they're not doing it again. You understand? This always said to people that self-empower yourself. So if anything happens, it's the end of the world. As far as you know that you tried your best as a decent human being, and that is life. You can't please people. So when I now see Nigerian men, African men, because I think they're happening some Ghana men as well. So African men killing their wives in diaspora, it's sad. I think every African man should understand that if he hasn't worked, he hasn't worked. You understand? Sometime in life, your disappointments can also turn out to be a blessing for you.
Yeah.
You understand? Because your wife left you, so what? Sometimes it makes me laugh. I see sometimes people talk about how much nurses are earning. No, I don't know about the US, but even nurses in the UK, they're not even earning that much. I mean, in nurses in the UK, we all do expect them earns maybe about, £1,900 a month after tax. Maybe it's in the band 6, 2,000. It's not like it's that much. Construction workers, plumbers, lorry drivers. I know lorry drivers in the UK who earn like £1,000 in a week. Just driving lorries, understand? So I don't understand why when I see some men, you're getting angry that your woman is successful. What kind of, you can also earn that kind of money. Understand? So the good thing that when it comes to abroad is that you don't even have to have a big degree or something. There's some jobs that you can also do. That's good money. Even if you don't have those qualifications, because you had, I think the case I had not long ago, there was a Ghanaian brother, he was a taxi driver. I used all his taxi money to bring the wife to the US and she became a nurse. And then I'm thinking, okay, she became a nurse, so what's the big deal? You understand? Even if she becomes the American president, what's the big deal? Your own destiny is your own hands. There's opportunity out there. Your destiny is your own hand. Okay, fine. If she wants to leave it, she wants to move on. No, voila. It's not the end of the world. Why kill her for?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you destroy her life, you've also destroyed your own life too.
And the life of your children, if you have one too.
Absolutely. You understand? So we all need to have a mindset to understand that. I'm not saying people should not go back home and take a woman or take a partner as your choice, but understand that you're gambling. You understand? You're basically gambling. Because the truth is, the good girl today back home will come to abroad and turn to something else. So, you understand? And of course, that's why I said financial security. You understand? Africa is different. In Africa, you give a woman, take maybe 5,000 cedis, take 10,000 naira, sit down there, do this. In diaspora, it doesn't happen. Because the woman is earning like you. Understand? So that's why in diaspora, everything's 50-50. Me, I don't sugarcoat as my partner. I say, listen, madam, the only thing I do as an African man, I say, okay, maybe when you look at the bills and stuff, you put 60% down as a man. Madam, 40% down. On a normal day, it's even meant to 50-50. I'm losing that 10% as an African man. So until you can't tell me anything, no, there's no from here. All of us are earning the same income. Maybe you have any man, 3,000, 4,000 pounds a month. You're also earning the same. So no one's better than anybody. And the good thing abroad is that it's more of a partnership. I'm hoping, this is one reason I always talk about good governance in our society. I'm hoping one day our countries like Nigeria, for example, Ghana and stuff, we have a better economy. And because when our economy is good, also, it will be good for all of us. A lot of nonsense will stop. Understand? And also, if we say, look, women who are self-empowered, understand, a lot of nonsense will stop. You know, in abroad, I always say people, when you meet someone dating, they date because they want to be with you, not because because of the shit you want to give them. Unless if the lazy person, even diaspora, you could do a cleaning job and be earning good money. I know people who only work 3-4 days in diaspora with a cleaning job. Then they are 300-400 pounds. They're okay. They're content with it. Well, obviously, the problem we have back home is that, like, for example, a country like Nigeria, how many women are earning 250,000 in a month in our society? How many? You know, you see nurses in our society, for example, and there's a girl that works in the hospital called Reddington Hospital in Lagos. She was earning about 75,000 in a month. So when she came to the UK, her first pay was about 1,800 pounds after tax. The girl called me and said, "Oh, Loma, I can't believe this." I said, "What happened?" She said, because her first pay in the UK for the same job, even less stress for her, was over £1 million naira. I think about 1.3 million naira. And in Lagos, she's earning 75,000 naira a month in Reddington Hospital, Lagos. And even when she came to UK, they were still owing about four months' wages. Unbelievable. Of course, we ought to expect. When money reaches people's and people change. That's the truth. So the wife that is doing yes daddy, back in Africa, when they come to that spot, there's no more yes daddy, yes sir, because they also have the same level playing field with you. Now, my dilemma is killing somebody is totally unacceptable, no matter what it is, because you help somebody does also give you a right to control them. I think that's one of the things I love to talk. I mean, I think I'm on the verge of hosting a space, maybe a couple of weeks, with a few gentlemen here, talk about Nigerian men, what we can do better as well. I know there's the African brother, so maybe we should talk about African men, how we can do better. And of course, it comes about controlling our wives too. You can't control people. I mean, your wife, girlfriend is not they're your partner. You understand? They're not your slave. You know. And the good things about it is when you treat people good, maybe you like it or not, they will respond in the right manner. You understand? You know, sometimes I look at some of these issues, these men and killing their wives. Okay, I look, okay, is it the lack of, maybe the woman change after the money, lack of respect, the men got angry? I'm a believer there's a way you could talk to your partners, you understand? I mean, let me give myself an example. Maybe if I have an issue with my partner or something, if my partner calls my mom, for example, that one, I'm dead already, you understand? So it's also important that you have people around when you're dating someone that, people that they respect and love, understand? Me, I know that if you just come at my mother doesn't want to know anything. Even if I'm angry, just, yes, ma, okay, sorry, ma, everything will end there. You understand? So it's also very important, you know, because some of these things we look at values that one led to it. Because for a man to kill a woman in this world is not just a one-day violent situation.
It takes planning.
So it's been boiling up, you understand? It's been boiling up. And we also need to understand that is, as a man, especially in diaspora, obviously we have strong laws in order that protects women, like of the UK, US and stuff. And of course, we also need strong laws to protect women in our society, even in Nigeria. Because a lot of things that make me angry sometimes, you know, I mean, there was a case I heard recently, a man in Nigeria was saying, "Oh, I can't send my wife to UK, oh, no, because I know that if she messes it up, I can't deal with her." But so this man knows that he can slap his woman in Nigeria, but he can't slap his woman in the UK. You understand? So you could see that the strong laws. We know this. A lot of Nigerian men know this themselves. But sometimes I don't blame them. It's because we don't have strong laws enough. All this nonsense we do now, you slap a woman and get away with it. You know, that society. As I'm talking to today, Brother Samuel, if you go, there's a prison in UK called the Belmarsh prison in London. There's over 1,000 Nigerians in that prison.
Wow.
A lot of them were for domestic violence, fraud, robbery and stuff. But the majority of domestic violence, some just slapping their partners.
Wow.
And guess what? After the sentence, they're facing deportation back to Nigeria. You understand? They're facing deportation back to Nigeria. Some of them, there was a guy whose case was last year. I'm not sure if it's the situation. I don't even know if he's deported now. So after his prison sentence, the wife clearly saw him as a threat. You know, so the Home Office revoked his visa. And that's it. So even despite serving 8 more prison sentence, the immigration took over, the UK border force took over for him to deport him back to Nigeria. On the visa issue was that he was a threat to women in that society. That's the reason of revoking his visa. He is a threat to women in the British society. And his visa was revoked. You know? So they struggle to understand that the nonsense we do in our society in diaspora is unacceptable. It's totally unacceptable. So my just advice to Nigerian men is that if you bring your woman to abroad and anyone better than you are, for me, I think it's a blessing. But at the end of the day, you need to understand that when you bring a partner to abroad, you're basically gambling. People change. You've seen people say to you, wow, this is my wife back home. He's good. I remember this Uncle Shola then, if you even call it to maybe Nigeria's Independence Day. Uloma, I can't come. I have to go and work. My woman is coming soon. My woman's, be thinking, wow, he was so excited. Only for the girl to get less than 4 months. Uncle Samuel, the woman left. So clearly told that he didn't do Zomo. So clearly, that girl just been doing something called love scam. She was only looking to jack over here. That's why sometimes when some people send me DM sometimes, from Lagos, Ibadan, I'm thinking, Auntie, what's wrong with you? Me, I will introduce you. I have good friends and brothers in Lagos. Lagos has over 10 million men. But I won't quit the London the entire eyes. What's wrong with you? And auntie, if you're not careful, me say I will collect the last issue waiting for your uncle that Lagos. Me say I need money, pass you. So I just think we can do better as Nigerian men. Clearly your partner, domestic violence is totally unacceptable no matter what. And the fact that you help somebody doesn't give you a right to control them. I think we can do better. And for me, it's just the mindset of this kind of men, because this kind of men back home, they want to control their wives, they believe they can do this and stuff. But the funny part is that what a lot of men don't understand is when you let a woman be sometimes, just let her be. You don't have to control anybody. She will be submissive to you naturally.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. And of course, make sure that people are not dating for the wrong reasons. In our society, I could tell you this, Uncle Samuel, today. If Nigeria economy gets better today and the women are self-empowered in our society, a lot of marriages and relationships will be broken up. That's the truth. Because a lot of women in our society are dating men for financial security. That's just the bottom truth. If women in our society are earning maybe 500K a month, listen, let's even have 5 million Nigerian women earning over $1 million in a month. A lot of relationships will be broken up because they don't need shit from you. They're okay their own way. You understand? All we can do is that, of course, have patience as well as men. We know our women get coconut head. That's just the truth. But as a man, let's try and have the patience. Let's try and work around it. And I've learned a lot myself. I remember a few years ago, the way I handled a situation is different now. So life's all about learning every day. I remember many years ago, some of my ex, maybe if I get angry, I'll lose it, I'll say things out of the norm. But that's not going to get me nowhere. So this day, if you just abuse me, just listen, my God will judge you. And I put it and just walk away. I think a lot of men exercise patience, and that's just what it is. And of course, if you're angry as a man, seek counseling, seek help, because of course, violence will never be an answer to anything. Are you the mic for now?
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Talking about that case of having strong laws in Nigeria is very, very important. I know in marriage in Nigeria that the husband was claiming the wife was working any good pay, something reasonable, and the wife was claiming, the husband was saying the wife must resign. He wants the wife to resign so that he can be Lord, he can control things, the man was saying, no, it's the job, that's why he's not respectful, that's why he's not that, and all those stuff, which to me is BS. It does not make sense. Men need to really know that when you come to the US, when you see the case Solomon was stating that the Uncle Shola that the wife left in 4 months. If that case was in US, you know how easy to get a gun in US? Just enter Walmart and then you just need your ID, and then you see them do all sorts. And that's why it's so much more here in the US, because people can get all these things easily. The life of a king that you have in Nigeria, it ends. See, in our house now, when the husband is a student, the wife is a student, children are students, everybody is rushing to leave the house. But who wants to wake up 5 a.m. to be cooking every day? You must have stuff in the refrigerator that you just quickly use the microwave oven, blam, blam, and then food is ready. But someone will say, no, I must eat fresh food every day. No, if you must eat fresh food every day, you must cook fresh food every day by yourself. Scholar, you have the floor. You'll be the first lady to speak. You have the floor.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. This has been a very interesting discourse. And Bros Oluomo, point on, really spot on. Okay, so it's unfortunate that a lot of marriages today are basically transactional, because if they weren't transactional, we won't be having the issues that we're having today. And the issue of, the woman, when she was in Nigeria, she was all obedient, docile, and all of a sudden she goes abroad and she has become something else. My first question is, on what foundation was that marriage predicated on? Really, because we need to start asking some very serious questions. What kind of conversations do couples enter into before they enter into this institution called marriage? It is very unfortunate that it is in our age that we see marriage as, okay, it's an escape, and really, as I'm entering it, just know that it's not a do or die affair. I'm going into it for what I can get from you. And I'm saying this because it is on both sides. It's not just only the woman. It's not only the woman. Now, this issue of Nigerian men who have killed their wives in the US, what went wrong? I and my husband had the same discussion yesterday. We are both in Nigeria, we're in Lagos. And, as we've been planning to relocate, certain topics have come up. And it borders on the financial. How are we going to handle our finances when we get there? I am a banker, he's an entrepreneur. And I'm saying, what kind of jobs would you go for? He used to work, then left the corporate world and went into running his own business. And my husband says, see, babe, I am not going there to go and count bridge. Anything I see, as long as it is bringing money home, I'm okay. Is it cleaning? I will do it. Is it being an Uber driver? I will do it. Is it being a janitor? Whatever it is, as long as it is legal, I am going to do it. And I'm like, wow. So why are these other people having these issues? Yes, like Oluomo said, people change. It is a gamble. Today we have a rosy marriage because we are in Nigeria. We're all suffering the same thing together. When we go abroad, it may change. I may change. He may change. But before that change comes, what has been happening in our marriage? How have we been handling our misunderstandings? 1. 2, who are we talking? Who are we speaking with? What kind of friends are we, having? What kind of company do we keep? What are the things we discuss when we are with these people? I have a brother-in-law who is in the US. His wife has been here for the past 7 years, and it's been tough getting her to go over there. And when I ask him, how do you cope? Because there was a time when the wife, she confided in me and said that she won't be surprised that her husband, is having an affair already in the US. And I told her, no, don't say that. Except you are saying you don't know who you married, 1. 2, you don't trust who you married. But he confided in me and said, the first time he landed in the US and he was wearing his wedding ring, that somebody called him and said, boy, what did you do? Why are you brandishing your rings here? Your wife, is she here? The guy says no. So why are you deceiving yourself? Oh, boy, come out that ring and enjoy yourself. There are free women here. That he should please, he needs to let out some pressure now. He should loosen up, Joe, that the wife doesn't need to know. Now, if he wasn't a good man, he wouldn't confide in me. Knowing how close I am to his wife, he wouldn't do that. So why are we having these issues? The person who spoke before Mr. Oluomo said something that the Indians are so many abroad. You have their women working, most of their men not working. Now, we don't know whether that is true or not. But the truth of the matter is we have Indians here in Nigeria, and we don't hear stuff like this. You don't. You don't hear stuff like this. So what is our problem? Because it now looks as if there's a lot of attention around Nigerians who are abroad. Let's remove the fact that, okay, yes, most people are going abroad because of the unstable economy. That is bad enough. It's bad reputation enough. Why are we now adding to it? Why are we adding to it? We need to really, really have a psychological evaluation of the likely changes that would come when we leave Nigeria and we go abroad. To the women who are on this call, I would enjoin everybody that, yes, we know that those societies favor us, in quote. They favor us. It doesn't give us a right to, go haywire when we go there. The person that we are here, if we are supportive wives while we are in Nigeria, why can't we be more supportive in a place that gives us the room to actually be supportive? Why can't we? And for the men, the Western world is different from our own world. Mr. Oluomo he has said it already. If here you like fresh food every day, you can't expect fresh food over there because time is money, literally. It's not like we have it here in Nigeria. You can afford to spend 5 hours in traffic in Lagos and still get paid the same amount of money for salary. If you try it over there, the clock is ticking. For every second, every minute that you miss, your money is going down. I really don't have, a lot to say, but I'm just saying that both parties really need to sit down and have a serious conversation. Talk about things that yes, they are very sensitive, but they just have to be discussed so that both parties are on the same plane. Then, if after that, when the opportunity now comes to go abroad, you now go abroad and you decide to do something else. If it is the woman who decides to go haywire, it is her loss because she will be losing a good man. If it is a man who decides, yes, I'm Lord and Master, I'm here, and you do as I say. I've come across a family member who, when she traveled abroad, her husband had been in the States for like 15 years. When she finally went over there, guess what the man did? The man seized her passport. That was the first thing the man did. He seized her passport and told her that whatever money that you are making, you will give it to me. Then I will now share it the way the way I see fit. That marriage is still ongoing because the woman she sees herself in a cage. She hasn't utilized the resources that are at her reach or within her reach to call the police or something or report. She has remained in that marriage. They have 3 kids. What woman A would do or would tolerate, woman B might not tolerate it. So it is very, very important that we need to check these things. And our families too. Sometimes they don't help. They really don't help. whereby a woman has been here, her husband is abroad. It's not as if he's not sending money home. He's sending money home. He's, struggling to make sure that his wife comes over. The people here will be telling her that, see, when you get there, just know that you are a free woman. Nobody can do anything to you. Once you get there, shine your eye, be sharp. Who are we fooling? Who are we fooling, really? We're not fooling anybody. We're fooling ourselves. Anybody who takes that kind of advice, well, you have yourself to blame by the time the chips are down. So please, we really can do better. We have terrible leaders. Let us not add to the already dented reputation that we have by, being very immature, basically. Being very immature.
All right.
I have to have right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Scholar. You made very important points. Very important point. What has been happening in the relationship before coming over? How is the relationship like? Some people, I must say, actually, some women see coming over as a revenge, because when they were in Nigeria, the guy was treating them anyhow. And then when they came over, the girl's lady says, "Yeah, I have my freedom." I mean, I'm out of one relationship when they were in Nigeria. The guy treats the lady anyhow, beats her, use her as punching bag and all those stuff. And when they came over to the US, well, the girl separated from her, and the guy is begging now. The lady wanted to file for divorce, child support, and all those things. The guy is going around begging people because it will probe into his status, it will probe into everything about him and all the stuff. And the guy was begging family members. But when you were in Nigeria, you were beating this lady. You were beating her, you turned her to punching bag. Now, just money support, I mean, child support, ordinary child support, you are begging around because your status is even shaky. You don't want the court to probe into you. So, how the relationship has been even before coming over is something that needs to be discussed. Personally, I believe um, earning income, for example, is for the good of the family. I make a joke with my wife, and this will probably be true. What she's studying, she probably will earn more than me when we finish, when we become whatever I want to be as doctors, whatever. She probably will earn more than me working in the pharmaceutical industry. For me, I don't care. I just bring money, let's spend. that is my that is my philosophy. Let's spend this money. Egbowo iwa, egbe kini wa. Sorry, Prince, you don't understand Yoruba. Àwa ló kàn. So bring this money, let's spend it. I mean, it doesn't mean that I won't work. I mean, I'll be working. I most likely will be in the industry doing research. But they don't pay us as much as those who are in the pharmaceutical industry. So come bring the money. It's our money. Let's spend this money. Okay. So it's a blessing for the family. And I think understanding comes in. But of course, some women go to the extreme and say, you must not send money to, and this is because I've seen situations like that. You must not send money to send money to this person. Is it must you send money to your family all the time? This and that. So those are some of the issues. And I tell you, when men are down, when they are in their lowest point, they can do and undo. I'm telling you, especially in a place where it's easy to get weapons, where you just enter. Someone entered the store just going to get the weapon, and then the person just wanted to off everything, off the wife, off himself, off because the person got to his lowest point. These situations happen. But one important point I picked from Oluomo Debbie is that say you don't own the wife. So I make some tweets about family, and I say there was a comment someone made some times ago, and he said, I paid for her. That comment of like, I bought her. Dowry doesn't mean you have bought the person. Why would you say you paid for her? She's your property. That doesn't make sense at all. That mindset is a mindset that will make some people go haywire when cases of divorce is coming up, or when cases of the ladies is no longer comfortable in the marriage or whatever. And then you say, okay, there's a Yoruba that says, kàkà kí kinní kan má ṣe kinní kan a máa fi ṣàwàdà or something like that. What it simply means is that if I can't reach it, and then you are trying to reach it, we will even scatter everything so that nobody reaches it. Then let's just off ourselves and then we go on to meet our maker. These are situations that make people, that push people to this extent, but we can make it work. Dr. Adedotun, please, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, my brother. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Lomo, and then Praise and everyone. It's good to be here. This is a very important discussion we have here. I saw the video, and I personally, I was completely sad. It was really a sad story. See, one thing we need to realize as human being, man and woman, husband and wives, is to understand that, and I'll give an illustration, and I'm going to use the scripture, and apologies to people who are not Christians here. God used marriage to illustrate the coming back of Jesus Christ. If it was not important, if marriage was not that complicated, God will not use marriage as an example for how Jesus will come. And to say we had the bride, he is a bridegroom, or we are whichever way, it is a very, very important institution that I also think everybody should understand before they enter into it. I married at the age of 38. Yeah, 38. And then people will ask me, what took you so long? Yeah, it took me that long because I want to spend more years in the marriage than I spent without the marriage. I'm telling you, it takes everyone to realize that. I have nothing less than 60, 70 years to go. But I've only spent 30-something years, 39 years in my life. So I'd rather stay 39 years unmarried and stay 90, 70 years married than the other way around. And stay happily in your marriage. It's very important that we understand all of this before we go into marriage. God ordained husbands as the head of the home, but God did not make the wife subservient. God did not say that the woman should be a slave. No, we are equal. We are equal. I once asked my marriage counselor when we were going to get married, and I said, is there a possibility that a woman can have too much? My marriage counselor has been married for almost 40 years. And he said, no woman has too much. Because when God makes you the head of the family, he didn't make you the head of the woman. He makes you the head of the responsibility. Because indeed, the woman herself is a responsibility that you have to take care of. So it's a work that you have as a husband, And I always like husbands to take that position. Take the position as a head and provide for the family in all ways, not just financially. The woman also needs some emotional support, needs some mental support, every support in every area. It is your responsibility to find a way to get that woman, make sure she's always in the right state of mind. Because if a woman is not in the right state of mind, she will look outside. If a woman is not in the right state of mind, she will look for alternative. It was the alternative that Eve was looking for. And so that's what we have to really understand for men. And for the women, I know there's this in our culture, or maybe not in our culture, but it's something that I've been seeing recently, that women think that all their life is in the hand of the man. And so it is the responsibility of the man to go and kill himself for them. If the man dies, what are you going to be holding at night? What are you going to be cuddling with if the man kills himself? If the man is in the hospital 90 days in a year, are you going to be in the right state of mind? Is that not penny-wise pound foolish? So in that case, I always encourage the women to, as much as possible, support your husband. Your husband can also run out of emotional bank accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Your husband can be depressed. Your husband can be overwhelmed. So don't always make it yourself alone. While the man is dying, you are there and you are doing, you are still looking for, you are still slave queen, waiting for the woman to come and put all the pounds on the ground, or all the euros, or all the dollars, and all of that. I can say it confidently, for the past few months, my wife has been the one providing for the family. You know, it's not because I am not working, it's not because I am lazy, but one way or the other, we had an agreement. Communication is very important in marriage, and you guys everybody must be able to do that. That's also what I feel is lacking in most marriage. Communication. People are not communicating. Husbands and wives are not communicating. They are not talking to each other. They are not playing together. You know, and so this is creating loopholes everywhere. Loopholes everywhere in marriage. You know, and I would always also encourage people to get married. If you're a Christian brother or a Christian sister, get married to a Christian wife or a Christian husband. Because the truth of the matter is, whatever you sow is what you will reap. I'm not talking about just anybody that goes to church and say, I go to church. I am talking about Christian. The word Christ-like has to be in a man that is called is Christian. So Jesus will not do what that man did. Jesus will not go and shoot off somebody and put off somebody. He will not do evil for the other person, because one thing we also don't understand in marriage is that the husband is the wife is the husband. So you are actually one. That's what the Bible says. We are one. So whatever harm you do to your second person, you have done it to yourself. You are actually doing it to yourself, not the other person alone. You know. So as much as possible, because I want to be happy, I also have to make sure that the other woman is happy.
Very true.
Because the woman also wants to be happy, she should also try and make sure that I'm always happy. And that's how it should work. You know, I see a lot of things around when people travel abroad. The women change, the man change, everybody start changing. Excuse me, when did we turn to a chameleon in marriage? Everybody start changing. Why are we changing? You know, and so I can understand that people get carried away by the things that happen around. I have a friend, a lady in my division in school here in the Netherlands here, and recently she just got married, and we were discussing, and she was also talking about, I was wondering why your husband is in Nigeria and you are here, and you just got married, you know. And then of course the husband will come later, but I began to realize that she's beginning to copy some few things from the ladies, from the white ladies, from the people from this environment, which I think is very unhealthy will be unhealthy for our marriage when the husband eventually comes. So these are things we need to do a lot of check and balancing for ourselves. To be candid, I think for me, among all the cultures in the world, I prefer Nigerian culture. I prefer the Nigerian culture when it comes to marriage. We seem to have some level of value for marriage. And then it's just that, of course, we say marriages don't last in European or Western area and all of that. I see a lot of that. And that's why I'm not married to a white woman. I don't want story that touch tomorrow morning. You know. And so these are things we cannot afford to get carried away every day. You know. For men, we need to understand, the Bible says we should deal with women with wisdom.
Yeah.
Jesus is the wisdom of God. So you can imagine what the Bible is asking us to do. Deal with women with wisdom. It shows that they are not just ordinary human beings. God created them in such a beautiful way that you need wisdom to deal with them. So even when a woman is nagging, when your wife is nagging, when your wife is crying and is doing, there's a way you can do it and you bring her head down. There are so many ways you can do it that you bring her head down, and she will not even be thinking of something outside the house or outside you anymore. There are times that women really want you to be their solution. But instead of being solution, you are throwing them out. You are shouting at them. You are arguing with them. You are making so much noise at them and all of that. I was also like that, and I began to change a lot of things. You know. So, but I'm hoping that everybody will learn, but not in a hard way. One major thing that has been a problem in marriages is families of the in-laws, families of the other party. Oh, it's a big problem. You are not the only family. It's not peculiar to one family. It's almost everybody that faces it. It's almost everybody that faces it. So talk about your family cannot come to our house. Your family cannot visit us on so day. Your family cannot do this. Your family cannot do that. You cannot send money home and all of that. You know. which I think sometimes for guys, if you find this, if this happening in your house, in your home, number one, I think you need to pray about it. Secondly, you also now to ask God for wisdom on how to go about it. You know, so but God will help us. Thank you so much, my brother, for giving me the opportunity to speak here.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Before I give you the floor, Sam, few things just to for those who are taking notes. One of the beautiful things he has mentioned is that communication is key. It's in any relationship, communication is key. Let your needs be known. Let your concerns be known. Of course, in a respectful manner, in a loving manner. Let it be known. For example, say my wife, when I'm frowning face at home, and then what she says is that I'm doing mouth like Chukudi. Sorry to anyone who is Chukudi here. She would say I'm doing mouth like Chukudi. When you mention Chukudi, there's a way your mouth uh, is shaped. So she says, "Oh, why are you doing mouth like Chukudi?" Just jokingly. When I'm frowning around and I'm just doing, of course, I want her to know too that yeah, something is wrong. Let's talk. Can. And then of course she knows, she gets the message. Sometimes too, when she's feeling stressed and I see that she's not talking, like she's not talking about her day, like how my day went. Like in class today, one professor did this. My in the lab, this is what happened in the lab, this and that. When I see that she's just working or doing whatever she's doing and she's not mentioning that, I know that something is wrong. If she's in the kitchen or wherever, I'll just go behind her, do normal things to, make the laughter flow, and then it makes the discussion flow. These are simple, soft skills that we need to learn, and it goes both ways. And number two thing I want to say is respect is reciprocal. I believe the scripture totally. Yes, men, God said, oh, men, they were the head of the house. Well, I will also add what we have been adding is that women will be the neck. They can control the head, they can turn the head to one direction or the other direction. Of course, we've seen it in so many situations. And then when we say, oh, the lady is not submissive, and then you are quoting the scripture. This is what I'm a Christian, I'm a believer. And I've seen many Christian brothers say, she's not submissive. The Bible says women should be submissive. Men are the head of this and that. I tell them first, before you got married, you both are brethren. And the scripture says that respect each other, respect one another. Do you respect her as a brethren, as a sister, as a brother? Do you respect this lady? Because if you don't respect her, and then or you don't respect, doesn't mean that you are calling her auntie wife or you are saying auntie Shade or something. It just means you value what she values. You don't talk in a derogatory manner to her. Some people call their wife all manner of names: fool, stupid, bastard, this and that, and the wife give them the same measure back, and then the husband says, Emi Lombawi, are you talking to me? And the husband lands with a slap, and then you see issues just degenerate that way. We must respect one another. That's very important in any relationship. The mutual respect must be there. And then it drives communication, it makes communication easier. So that when your wife is coming to you to talk, she's not seeing you as a bad boss, like someone who I must be shaking. Some men want their wife to be shaking when they are talking to them or kneel down, those kind of things. I mean, beautiful culture that our parents endured, but I must tell you that the culture that we celebrate, that our parents had good marriages and all those things. Yeah, they are good marriages. I valued some of those things, but sometimes it's just because of the way the world is. Some of them wanted to do more, but they can't do more because they found themselves restricted and they just gave up their dreams. These days, thank God for feminism. Now, I speak against the extremes of feminism, but thank God for what feminism brought, in the sense of the feminism which I'm talking about is the one that says equal opportunity for men and women, equal opportunity for everyone. Thank God for that kind of movement that started in the 60s, 50s, that brought equal opportunity such that the girls, women too, can dream big and say, yes, I want to do this, I want to do that. Now, if that was the case when our fathers or our grandfathers were married, many of their marriages will not stand because some of those men, some of those are great grandfathers, and they are great men, I must say. They are great men. Some of them cannot withstand seeing some of their wives performing at the same level at which they're performing, or even earning more than them. They feel relegated that I'm supposed to be the provider in the house. I'm supposed to provide this, provide that, but this woman is earning more than me or doing this. Or you see, can you imagine those are great grandfathers in the kitchen? Just imagine that picture now. They are the one that goes to the farm, do all these things. The woman stays at home. Can you imagine the reverse? And they are the one taking care of the children and the likes now. But this is what the world is today. The woman is going to the work. The woman is going to work. The man is going to work. Everybody is coming back home tired. Who should go to the kitchen? Okay. The woman is tired too. Everybody must just give in what it takes. Everyone must give in what it takes. But yes, communication is key. For example, some of the things that the guy in the 911 video mentioned was talking about the fact that I cannot do this, I cannot do that. One question one want to ask first is, okay, have you guys discussed this thing? Is this something you have sat down to discuss? For me, sometimes I believe divorce is not a loss at all times. Sometimes divorce means that you have just simply saved your life. Sometimes that is what it means. Yes, the marriage might be gone. Yeah, the children might not enjoy it. They might not be have their parents together. But it simply means that a life has been saved. A life has been saved. Sam, let me give you the floor to speak. You have the floor, Sam.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree to you. Everyone I see you, and someone I see you, I make the trust and everybody.
You
It's
can
like an
just try and
evidence.
speak a bit louder.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah, we can manage. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I appreciate your topic, but there's one thing I would just like to say before I begin. I would not want you to take sides. You understand, so that your topic can be interesting. You get, because so in order not to speak other people's mind and others who have different views, they will just leave. They'll feel maybe you are supporting a particular side, so they won't like that. You just need to be neutral, just like your co-hosts. Okay, so that's that. Yeah. To me, I just feel, please, if you can't hear me, just raise your hand because anything can happen. We are in the metaverse already. So to begin with, what I expect to the best of my knowledge and my understanding, to the level I've grown to adulthood. So I just feel that it's part of that insecurity. You understand? The insecurity that is coming from the side of the men. And a lot of them have been inculcated with the religious and cultural beliefs that yes, they are the head. I used to be a religious person. All these things were written by maybe your your religion, you say your God or whatever it is called. I was born and bred of my changed my mind. So I'm a deist, a complete deist. So that said, my understanding now is he who has more or she who has more, what will be required from that person. Mind you, I am not saying disrespect should come. If you have more than your woman, then you should be subservient to you. If your woman has more than you,
It seems Sam is gone now.
No, no, no. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, we can hear now.
yeah, like I was saying, I say if you have more, does not mean that your woman should be subservient to you. Then if the woman has more, it has to do with understanding and communication. And that is why I agree with everything Adi Total has said. Is that communication I hold in high esteem. And just like what you have respect to mutual respect. I believe in the family. Anybody can be the head of the family because in most cases, a lot of men have been trained have been nurtured to believe that they are the head, which means they have the wisdom to understand everything. Mind you, men too who are smarter, way smarter. Don't misconstrue me. That does not mean that the men who are more smarter. You can have a wife that can be more financially that knows how to manage money than you. Then you can know how to take care of the kids. These things come with us naturally, but we learn them. Not that we come as a man that yes, you must know how to do this. It comes from heaven like that. These things will come to the world and we learn it. Just like you train a girl that she should know how to put on so she will grow to know how to do it. You train a boy that he has to be a master. That child will grow up and feel no. That child will grow up. So look at it. So it depends. Our upbringing too really matters. Men have emotions. Women too have. What I'm trying to say, in essence, is anybody can lead, either the woman, because we used to have Queen Amina. There were queens in their kingdom. In Ghana too, you have some princesses too. So this is why a lot of men feel that they can they can they can involve themselves in polygamy. Mind you, I'm not against polygamy, but if a man who is supporting polygamy is against polyandry, I keep saying it, I don't care. You should just keep quiet. You feel you can marry 2 or 3 wives. Then a woman too who wants to desire to marry 3 or 4 man, you tell me is against your culture. Fine, it's against your culture, but other people practice it. So they just let them be. So back to the topic as we are saying, I just feel it is absolute insecurity. And you feel yes, I'm the alpha and omega, whatever you say, you have to you have to you have to accept it. It doesn't work like that. You have it that
All right, it seems we finally.
the two become
Okay.
one. So do take you make my philosophy is it takes two to tango. You understand? And I've seen in some relationship where the lady is more smarter than the guy, but due to the ego, you understand your aggression, you feel yes, whatever I say, but you might be leading the house to to the pit of hell, and it doesn't work like that. So it takes two to stand. So that understanding needs to be there. And if it doesn't work out, and that is why I appreciate divorce or separation, just like you said, people should live to live again. Thank you very much. I hit the mic.
All right, thank you. You made a very good point that there are some situations where you give it to the woman, let the woman just take it. I remember, there was a time in Nigeria I was doing this thing we call a joy. I mean, it's contribution in the office. People make contributions, and then no, this is very simple situation. So I withdrew, I think 20 or 30K out of my salary to go and pay to my colleagues because we are doing this contribution. And of course, I use GTB Bank. So I withdrew it. I said, okay, when I'm going to work in the morning, I will drop at GTB Bank, withdraw the money, and then take the taxi again, then go to Total Garden where I work. I was withdraw the money. I will withdraw the money in Ring Road, then have it in my pocket, take it to school, go and give it to my folks. And my wife was like, why not just wait till you get to school, then withdraw it in school? In my mind, I said, this lady does not know. So I told her, I said, that's time big. I don't want them to deduct bank charges and all these things and all those stuff. My wife said, well, it's closer, it's safer. I said, no, I'm going to withdraw it in GTB Bank and I'll take it to school. And she said, okay, that's fine. So I would do the money GTB Bank, I think around 30K, if I can remember well. And I put it in my pocket, took the taxi, then got to school. And I wanted to dip my hand in my pocket to give the money to friend. And I counted the money. The money I had in my pocket was less than 10K. Around 20 something thousand had disappeared from the money. I was mad. Like, what? Apparently, it's possible that the money fell down somehow in the car or someone stole it in my pocket, the person sitting next to me or somehow. But eventually, I lost like 20 something thousand naira because I didn't listen to my wife. I kept saying, I don't want bank charges. Bank charges of like 4, 5 naira. That was why I lost 20,000 plus, because I didn't listen to my wife. A very simple situation, but there are bigger situations like that when the woman could have just led in that situation, and there would have been a solution. Just let the woman lead in such situations. There are things that she can be better at, and let her do it. If there are things you are better, you do it. You don't have to kill yourself to be the, like, I must be the one to do everything. I must be the one to do everything. No, there are things that you should just let her do. There are things you should do. Just communication, divide this thing. No, what should I do? What should you do? What's expected of me? What's expected of you? These are very important things that marriage need. Sometimes what leads to these things, men killing their self-wife, is frustration that has been it's pent up frustration. It's been there, and it just kept piling up, and they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to share it. I remember when we got married newly in Nigeria. I can't remember what the situation was. I was just angry. Like, marriage is work. I mean, anyone who is married knows that it's work. You are living with someone for the first time, and then you are seeing differences. Both of you are just doing things differently and all those stuff. And I was just angry. I was just going about my day for like 3 or 4 days. I didn't really discuss with my wife. I was frowning at home. It's all good morning. I mean, I was angry, but I was eating. Okay, my own anger did not transcend to the point where I said I stopped eating at home. I was eating the food, per se. I will eat the food. I will say thank you. I will go inside, go and sleep. I will wake up again and all those stuff. So, but you see, after the fourth day, I was tired of being angry because it was draining me a lot, and we had to talk about it. And you see, when we talked about it, it was just a tiny misunderstanding, very tiny misunderstanding that we could have solved on the very first day. We could have solved it on the first day, but I went through the stress of frown. Do you know how much it takes to frown every day? And then you go to school. Where I was teaching in a school, I was teaching Cambridge A levels. So, and then you joke with your friends, of course, your colleagues, you teach your students, and you are going back home, you have to put that back on your face, that frown. I don't know what you call it now, that frowning face, you have to bring it back. It takes a lot of effort. You have to bring it back, and then you are entering the house, and then you don't want to talk much. You just, how was your day? Fine, good. How was your day? Good, good. Okay, food is ready. Okay, what can I do? Or you go to the kitchen, you have to cut. You see, I was still doing my duty as a husband, like go to kitchen, help in doing whatever, assist in whatever. If she says, "Oh, help me to cut this," I'll be cutting it with my frowning face, eat, and say thank you, go to sleep, and all those stuff. But when we resolved it, when we discussed the issue, it was just a little misunderstanding. Sometimes many things are just misunderstanding. Someone thinks is right this way, another person it thinks is right this way. When you discuss it, you can find a middle ground. Some of these will help to avoid frustrations, anger piling up to the extent of doing things that don't make sense, that will make us regret one day. Olu, you are here, you have the floor, you can speak.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for that, Samuel. I think things are just changing everywhere, ain't it? Alpha male, we have dominated everything, in the world, for years past. So things are changing a little bit more now. The women, they're not having it how they at this time, which is good. I do prefer when you can share decision together. It's no longer you're the alpha male. I have to sit over everything really. So I think that's been the case. Like UK, all these Western worlds, especially when I say Nigerian women when they leave Nigeria where they're not well protected and they come to UK where they know their right is there. They speak up one day, they'll speak up. They can rely on the system. They get support. And that's why they could stand up and say, listen, you're not going to control my money. You're not going to tell me how much I'm going to spend. I need to be, I have to have a say in what's going on, which I think is a good thing that is happening now. Because if I look at my mom, my dad, living in Ekiti and all that, and we were growing up, it's a different ball game. But I cannot do that in UK at the moment. I think that change is needed at this time, and things can. I think we're not giving women the right opportunity to express themselves, are we? And in most cases, they've done very well for the world. If you try them, they've been successful. In business, they've been successful raising family. For me, I give kudos. Since my mind changed when I had my son 8 years ago, and I was there when he was being pushed out. So since that day, I can never
that experience
say
never
rubbish
leaves
to
you.
women. I cannot talk rubbish to women anymore since that day. So I love them, and I hope we all respect them. But I think, like Africans, we still behave, the culture we are raised in. We still think that we should be taking the lead every time. But, in these countries, women are protected. Everybody's protected, not just women. You can express yourself. If you're a man, if you don't want to, if you don't want to associate as a man, you don't want she or he, whatever you want to identify as a dog. That's your business. You will be protected. So, and I think that's the change we are seeing right now, and I think it's a welcome idea. People should be able to, they have the right to make choices. To meet you at the middle. And that's how it should be, I think. But that's me. That's my opinion, really. I was talking to somebody today, just a bit of a digression there. I was talking to somebody, and they said, "Wow, Nigerians very not empathetic towards other, either men or female or other people that not in the same kind of social strata we are." And I was telling, I said, Nigerians are chasing limited resources, so it's the survival of the fittest mind we all have. And that's why if you put two chicken somewhere and you put just few stuff in there, people they will start fighting on it. But if it's enough, if people have the same chances to go for it, you have yours. You won't be bothered about what happens to Oluomo or what Olu will be sharing. You don't rush on things, but that's how it is. That's a bit of a digression there. Thank you for the opportunity, guys. Cheers.
All right, thank you so much, Olu. Thank you so much, Olu. I don't know if you have even observed in this space that most of the people who have been talking about this situation, even in this space, are men. We've only had one female speak. Was this like over 1 hour, 30 minutes that we've started this space session. And then somehow this is part of the things that people feel like, oh, when I'm in Nigeria or in Africa, I'm restricted, I can't talk. My husband will beat me and no one will do anything. But now I'm in the UK, I'm in the US, I can talk, I can do something. All right, before I move to allow another speaker, let me quickly read some comments from YouTube. Some people are commenting on YouTube. Of course, there's Titi Lokwe on YouTube who has been giving a lot of tips, a lot of beautiful things. She started by saying communication is key. She said, God, we have the singles. Oh, she said communication is key. She also mentioned something very important. She said, marry your kind too. Okay. See, I used to say this jokingly on the timeline. I would say, you married Jezebel, and you want the type of respect of Sarah, but you went to marry Jezebel. So where do you get the kind of respect of Sarah? You too, you married Ahab. You are expecting the kind of wisdom of Solomon. Where do you want to get that from? Okay, so don't marry. Olomo even summarize all these things. Don't marry for the money. Don't marry for the jackpot that he will be able to take me over. If you don't love the person, just say no to the person. Not because the person is staying in America, the person is in Canada. And then you tell your family member, say, there's someone in Canada who says he loves me, and your family member say, Canada, say yes to him. You become a citizen, and you now go into the marriage, and you discover that you don't really love the man. The man is not your type. Maybe the man, whatever, anything. You just don't love the man, and then you are looking for a way of escape. Okay, and then the man gets angry, gets a gun, and such things happen. Marry your kind, marry for the right reasons. Marry for the right reasons. Take your time in courtship to learn. Open your eyes. Don't just go for shawarma. Don't just go for don't let everything be about shawarma. Discuss the future. Okay, shawarma cannot hold a marriage. I must tell you, it cannot hold a marriage. It won't sustain the marriage. Let's even assume that you guys love shawarma and then you want to order it every night, and then you put all the responsibility on one person. The person is ordering shawarma. One day the person will get angry that all my money, I can't save money, all my money is going for shawarma. So shawarma will not sustain your marriage. Discuss the future. Talk about these things. These are very important. There, somebody when I shared our experience. Now, I won't say the template of my own courtship, of our own courtship, is what people should follow. We courted for like 3 years, 8 months, which is long. And the one reason was because we started relationship at 22. I was 22 when I proposed to her. She was 21, and we both agreed that we'll get married. And then we just continued that courtship that way. But within those period, we did a lot of things, visited each other's parents, family members. I got to know our cousins or whatever. I went from place to place, travel around. But we had a mentor, okay, which is what many people don't have. Oluomo was saying now that someone should just call a mom now, that if the wife just called or the partner just calls the mom, she knows that it knows that everything ends there. Have someone you can talk to. Okay. I usually tell, I mean, I in Nigeria, I had mentees around because we used to do student conferences around, and I have different mentees, school, those who are in school. And I tell them, especially the ladies I miss them, I tell them, see, when you are going to a relationship with someone and the person does not have someone who can talk sense to him, that man most likely is a dangerous person. If the person does not have someone who can talk sense to him and make his head come down when the head is hot, that person is dangerous. So we had mentors who were going around, speak with our mentors. We had assignments we do, we meet together, not just eat. Yes, we go out to eat, of course, but we were studying biographies, we were studying married couples. We went to different married couples that we have around, speak with them, what is their experience and all those things. We were building ourselves. We're not just eating around, we're not just taking pictures, eating coke, drinking coke or whatever. We had these things we did. We had our mentor give us assignment. What have you studied? Okay, what stage now? And when we're about to get married, we just knew that it's time to get married. We just knew it's time to get married, even though 3 years, 8 months had passed at that time. So, Titi Lokbe, your point is very valid. Marry your kind too. Okay, and then God's time said is a believer of great communication in any relationship or marriage. Yes, communicate. It's very important. Sometimes some communications will be tough. But you can't shy away from such frank communication, frank talk. Some people don't love confrontations. Okay, so when you're about to discuss things that are sensitive, that they are sensitive to, they just want to find a way of waving it away as quickly as possible, or to admit anything that will make them admit that they were wrong or they are wrong. They just want to find a way of quickly waving it away quickly. Don't shy away from those tough communications. Talk about it. If you are wrong, admit you are wrong. If you are right, talk about it. Say your mind. Okay. Don't shy away from communication. It's very important. Now, I know people will talk about personalities. People will talk about this person is melancholic, this person is sanguine, this person is phlegmatic. So, the phlegmatic, that nature which we have learned is that those who are phlegmatic, they don't love confrontations. So when you just if they, let's say this is, if anyone is watching on it, I'm holding a bottle of water. If I drink from this bottle of water and I put it down, and someone comes to ask a phlegmatic person that, did you drink from this bottle of water? Because the person does not want confrontation, the first response that may just come out of the phlegmatic person is just say, no, I didn't touch it. We just want the conversation to end there. Don't shy away from tough conversations. Talk about it. Communication is very key. For example, even in marriage, some of the problem people have is sex. If you are not getting it the way you think you should be getting it, talk about it. And this is one thing we even see in churches, in religious settings. People don't want to talk about it. They just want to say, these are, and women sometimes are not getting enough. When I mean enough, they are not getting satisfied. Okay, and they don't know how to talk about it. They don't, it's just when the guy has finished doing, the guy said is done, guy is done, is that, I mean, guy is done, and that everything just move on. But they are not getting satisfied and they can't talk about it. All these things make frustrations to pile up. Communication is very key. Now, Titi Lokpe also said something here which is very important. She said couples should go to therapy for unresolved childhood trauma or issues. This is very important. Now, this is my theory. My theory is many men or women, whichever case, who grew up in an abusive environment most likely will follow the same pattern. Most likely. For example, if you grew up seeing your dad beat your mom, just give your mom a slap to put her in her place, give your mom a punch in the tummy just to make her relax. You know, those type of things men say. They say, I discipline her by beating. If you grew up in that type of setting, even though you don't love it, most likely you will repeat that. Most likely you will repeat the same thing if care is not taken. It takes a lot for you not to repeat that same thing. So I agree with Titi Lokbe, saying couples should go for therapy or for unresolved childhood trauma. Now, there's something myself and my wife we've experienced. Even while our first child was around 6 months in Nigeria, when we are playing, because we play a lot. So when we are playing hard, like I'm carrying arm, I'm doing stuff, you see the fear in their face. You see the fear, they become very afraid. Now both of them can walk. Even when we are still playing and I'm carrying out, and then it seems as if we are fighting. You see both of them coming to our mid to try to separate us, try to push me apart, try to push the other person apart. You see them shaking. Fear is gripped, they are being gripped by fear. And we are telling them, no, Nathaniel, Emmanuel, we are just playing, we are just playing. Imagine those who really fight, and this is how the children grew up. Their childhood has been messed up, their mind is messed up already. They will try hard not to do those same things in their marriage, but they will fail. It's just like an addiction. They will just keep going back to it. It will just become a default setting. When you have experienced a bad parent, fatherhood, motherhood, or parenthood, if that is what you grew up with, it's most likely that you replicate the same thing. So, where I agree with your idea that they should go to therapy for unresolved childhood trauma or issues. Very, very, very important. And Tolokwe also said values must also align. Okay, the person you are marrying, values must align. You should have values align, and you just don't marry because of the of the goodies. Don't marry because, oh, when I get married now, I'll not be in America. Now let me share one experience I'm privy to. There's someone I know who was in a relationship with someone at a point. I think they had a child. It was just that was before marriage, and then gave birth to the child of wedlock. And then the person relocated to Canada. And then, of course, this lady was doing fine. She grew up, was taking care of the child, normal thing. And then this person came back to Nigeria and said, oh, I want to marry this girl. I want to marry the mother of my wife so I can take them to Canada. But this lady does not love this guy. But she had the option of saying yes and go to Canada with the child. But she said no, that she's not getting involved. She doesn't want to do that. And then, of course, they had an agreement about the child and do also. But the guy went back to Canada. And then the lady's Nigeria, happily married, got married to another person, happily married, enjoying her life in Nigeria. So many people would take that as an opportunity and say, hey, Canada, and go. But you didn't like this person. You didn't, it's not somebody you love. So when you get to that Canada, you start looking for a way of escape, and things happen, and then we end up talking about issues like this, killing and all those stuff. So very, very important. Values must align. And Tlokwe shared this lastly. She said, accountability. Couples must have a person they must have a person or persons they are accountable to. Very, very important. Very, very important. Accountability is very, very important. All right. So we've only had one lady speak here today. I need ladies to talk. This even more on ladies. Why are ladies not talking? What's going on? This is what they say. They say it's a man's world, but no, it should be a man and woman's world. So ladies, I need you to request for the mic. Talk. What do you think? The Nigerian men who killed their successful wives in the US, what went wrong? Are they jealous of the success? Is it a submission issue? The wife became successful and is not submissive again. Is it a family issue? Is it what, or is it the demon? Is it the devil? Did the devil just enter his heart and he decided to do those things? And let me say it again. I read about this online. There are many more cases that I read about, and it's alarming. Many more cases. Nigerian man. I was just thinking, why must it be a Nigerian? And it's the same story. Nigerian man killed the wife. Nigerian man shot wife dead. Nigerian man used baseball beating to kill the wife. This and that. Read it. You see it online. So many stories. I read two of that happened in Texas. I read one that happened in, I think, I can't remember where. So many places all around. In fact, one happened this year, June 2022. So it's an issue. What went wrong? Auntie Peace, you have the floor. The mic is yours, Auntie Peace. You can speak.
Hello, good evening. Sorry, good evening, guys. I joined in like 30 minutes ago, and thank you, Oga Sam, for putting this together.
You're welcome.
I kept hearing from the background, women don't want to talk. Okay, I'm a woman, I'm a mom, and a wife, I'm a nurse. I'm not in the US, but I have experiences, and I've read about people's experiences both in US, UK, Canada, and all of those places where we hear all those atrocities being committed. Okay, so my thoughts on this are what I always share when I talk to my younger friends that are about to get married. Both guys and girls alike, you know. I think for the most part, African men, or do I say Nigerian? Well, in this part of the world, though, the developing world, we have come to associate manliness with the ability to provide solely, almost financially, and that I think is the wrong precept to lay our marriage experiences on. I repeat, men often think that their sole purpose in life is just to provide for their families. And it's wrong. It is wrong. Matter of fact, we put your reference from scriptures. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm a Christian. I'm not sorry to be a Christian, but I'm sorry if we have people in our audience who are not Christians. But I'm sure that every religion has something of that sort as a responsibility that is distinct from men. But people often misconstrue it to mean only financial provision. I made it clear to my friends one time that when they say provide for your family, they really do not mean money. It's more than money. It's because of the kind of environment we live in where money seems to be the defining factor of how successful you are. So if you do not have money, it looks like as though you're not enough, right? So if when a man says that he now doesn't have enough money to show or as evidence of his prosperity, of his position in the family, he now starts getting threatened, and all of those things start to fall in place. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, unfortunately, like the last speaker was saying, or the last two speakers, the rights of women in this part of the world are much relegated to the background. You hear we say that the cliche of women are to be heard and to be seen and not heard, it's gone. It's not on the table anymore. But trust me, it is in workplaces. It's everywhere. Women are not expected to know as much as they know, or to be as skillful as they really are. Such that when you see a woman who is intelligent, who is smart, who is resourceful, people want to either say she's overdoing, or she's suddenly rude in your eyes, in your sight, and it may not be the case. So it's a case of our culture. It's robbing us. Culture mixed with the wrong precepts of religion. We have turned the scales to the misfortune of women, and to the what do I say now? It's just a sad story. So Two things. One, provision is more than, when you say providing for your family, meanwhile, that scripture wasn't talking about men only. It was talking about people in general. Providing for your relatives, doing a support system for people around you. It wasn't just talking about money. You can provide more than money. You can provide security. You can provide sense of self-worth. You can provide the enabling environment for things to happen. That's provision. So when you tie your essence in life as a man to your ability to provide only money, there's a problem. Because money is something that comes and goes, but wealth doesn't. The riches that you find in family connections does not go. So if you can provide all of those, then you are really a man. I don't know how many people are going to get this straightened out, but I hope that somebody gets information today that your place in your home as a man is more than providing money. It is way more than. I was telling my husband one day that, look, when people talk about when people want to talk about societally defined roles in marriage, do you know that when we say the woman is a helpmate, I'm simply helping you, right? It's shocking, but I've helped you give birth to these children, or if you have to give birth to children, I'm also helping you take care of them. The day I tell you I'm tired, I'm supposed to have my rest. Do you get? So it is really the part where I'm helping. The woman is to help. She's a helpmate. So it is what you help. It's how much you give her opportunity to help that she will. But if you seem to wear all of the burden on your neck, such that when she now of her own what do I need to use now? Of her own essence in life, starts to contribute to the table, and then gets to say, okay, I can be more than this. I can be a little better. I can be a little more. I can be a little more resourceful. Then you now feel like she's coming to take your place. No. A successful woman does not necessarily have to be have to steal the show from you as a man. Your essence is more than providing money as a man. Your essence is more than providing money. You provide security, you provide safety, you provide emotional support, you provide everything possible for your family to thrive. And then you owe all of these things to your wife the most in the first place. Because with or without children, which most times cause the troubles in marriage is supposed to be valid. The validity of a marriage is not necessarily whether you can produce children or not. It is two people coming together to be one. That is what makes it. So the support you give your wife, or the environment you give your wife or your spouse in marriage, is what makes you as a man, not your money. Now, for women who become monsters, I'm sorry to say, because they don't have any money, we should trace it back. Who have they suffered before? What have they seen women suffer? People used to think I was stupid one time when I would work, and I wasn't really having so much. I wasn't doing my current job, and I know that the expenses in the home was much on my husband than on me. So I would just take out what I need for my self-care, my basic needs, and I will give him the rest. And my friends were like, "Are you mad? Are you crazy? How do you give a man money?" I said, "Look, I'm not stupid. Let's not talk about well, I'm totally well. I see that it is us doing things together. He has more of the responsibilities of financial responsibility. So what's my own small change inside? If I take what I need." So it depends on background. I've seen that it works if two people work it out together. So I should. But when people are coming from a home where the man always just does things for himself, and then teases out funds for his wife and children, then people learn from that to be not necessarily selfish, but trying to protect what they have from being misused. We have heard stories of men who plunder their wives' resources because they are together. We have heard cases, and then these women tell their stories to younger ladies, and those people come up in arms into marriage.
Yeah.
They come up looking like they are now woke. They don't want to be buffeted. They don't want to be exploited. But it may not really be the case. Sometimes communication really is a problem. What have you settled out to do? I always say, if you have a plan to do something and it requires money, share the idea. Because what I would invest better in something when I know the reason why we're doing it. If I do not, and you just because you are a man want to say, okay, give me and let me use it, I would resist you because I sweated for this money. And it will be It's not wise for me to allow you spoil what I have earned. Right? So it depends on, we should check out the woman's history. When I say history, where she grew up, her experiences, what she has heard about men and people, and then again what she has seen this particular person do before. Because once bitten, twice shy. I can't help you. And you can't tell me that we want to fund maybe a building project and I contribute towards it and it doesn't materialize. I won't trust you with funds anymore. There's no love that will do that. In fact, it's out of love I will not trust you with money, because love seeks out the best in us. Right? So these things are basic things, So people need to learn, spouse, husband and wife need to learn their places in marriage. Their places in marriage, your essence in marriage. Really, nothing stops you as a woman from being the breadwinner. If your husband realizes in time, if you are the one who can really, out of the situation that is prevailing, if you're the one that can work, there's nothing that stops you from being the breadwinner, bringing the money to keep the house together. They're not right any reason a man go drown. And it's the truth. But because we have been we don't search out the truth about these things. So we just go with the flow, with the flow. We don't decide things. We don't make it clear cut. Okay, what is this at what point? What are we doing at this point? What do we need? We. Right? Am I spending too much time? I just wanted to chip this in now. So for clarity's sake, two things I pointed out. There's more to provision in your home as a man than finances. In fact, it's one of the least things you can do as provision. One of the least things is to provide money. There's much, much more to be done as a man in your home. Secondly, women who become independent and become suddenly rude, like people would like to say, which many times I find that they're not just being rude. There's a sense of responsibility that comes on you when you now can earn. And there's more to work than any money. Work is a gift. The ability to work is a God-given gift, because he has given us power to create, and by our working we create solutions to people's problems. That's the essence of work. So there's a reward for it, and sometimes it's money, sometimes it's more than money, sometimes it's money and other things. So women who want to shield what they have earned in marriage probably have a history that they are leaning on to, probably have fear of losses that they are leaning on to. You get? So there you have it. You said a woman. Nobody has talked as a woman. Hi guys, bye.
Thank you. Very beautiful points. Very beautiful points. And one of the important points you made was, the example you gave of people who work and then their husband just spend the money anyhow, mismanage the money. Yeah, that's a real point, because I've seen situations like that where husband and wife are saving money together in a joint account, and then the husband removed the wife as a signatory to the account, and the wife does not know what's going on with the account again. What counsel do you think I will give? Stop saving in the account, because you don't know what the money is going again. You don't receive a lot again. Everything just disappeared and blah 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 blah. The man just want to take control of the money, and when the wife asks, what happened to the money in our account, the husband says, you don't need to know. So how will you say I don't need to know? We are saving this thing together. We are putting money in together. We are trying to do projects together. I used to be a signatory. I used to receive text messages. Now I'm no longer a signatory. I don't receive alerts again. Money just disappears suddenly. I don't know what happened to the money. Why should I continue to contribute to such accounts? So these are issues, real issues that people face, real issues. Mayowa, you have the floor. Before you talk, let me say that my third name or my middle name is Oluwamayowa. Is your own also Oluwamayowa?
Actually, my name is Mayowa.
Okay.
So there's nothing in front of my name, but my uncle just gave me Ademayowa.
Okay.
So that's why my name is not Mayowa Crown.
Okay, great. All right,
Okay,
you have the floor, Mayowa.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So good day, everyone. Good day, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes. Good day to you, Mayowa. We can hear you.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity, and let me just start by saying, Olomo of Debbie, I like your submissions, and I even tweeted to that. It's just I didn't tag you. So or that, so it was rounded. So basically, I wish that we know the patterns, as in the patterns of the cases that you had seen, because I only know of the case that I commented on yesterday. Now, based on the pattern, we'll be able to know if, because the other lady said she actually made good points, but then if the pattern does not fit into those, it will look more like we're just trying to make it look like the women are the problem. No, I know the woman can be the problem, the man can be the problem. But now, if I want to analyze what happened yesterday, it was just a thing of control. Like, he said something like, you don't want to give me your paycheck. Like, so it's like, I brought you from the village. I think it's just sense of entitlement. And I'm just going to, like, still touch the same things that Roma touched, but maybe in a different light. No, people, I would like to know like the age difference between them. You see, and that's why I have a problem when people go to marry someone that they're 8 years older than. Like, you just want to control the person. That's me. Like, it's not like generalized, but in most cases that's just it. You're just looking for someone to control. If not, why are you going for 8 years now? By the time the person comes to the city, maybe the person is in the village, the person comes to the city, the person gets information, and then the person is now enlightened and all of that, and you still want the person to not be slaving, and you're probably not even loving the person properly, you're shouting on the person, you're doing all of that, you now have this sense of, I am the one that made you, because you see, and it's both for the men and for the women. We've seen cases where it's like, because I have made you, I have to finish everything about you. And really, it's painful, because I feel like people should get to the point whereby, irrespective of whatever you've done for someone, it should not be like, okay, I'm doing it for you so that you can pay me back. Yeah, it can be painful, but then people should learn to work out of things. For example, if a man did not I don't know if he committed suicide, but I know I had gunshots. Now, if he did not commit suicide, he's going to go to prison, because he killed someone, and probably maybe for life. Now, he's wasted his life. His kids are just going to be dead. Now, the kids has to be maybe with the government or with family and all of that. And it's really painful, because now the woman or the man is just subjecting their offspring to pain. No, that is by the way. Now, another thing is, I feel like the circle that each person, whether the man or the woman, they roll with. Okay, I've heard of a situation whereby the man told the wife that his colleagues at work said that, if you have not slapped your wife, you tried. And when I heard that thing, I was like, So if that kind of man is around such circle, he probably hasn't slapped his wife, but words don't die. They're already feeding that person with that kind of words. So at the end of the day, one day he's going to slap his wife. So the circle matters. Omo has actually touched on all these things. The circle matters. Who is the person that this person is rolling with? And that's what, see, people that are not yet married, before you marry someone, I beg, know the circle of the person. Who does the person roll with? It's not about money. It's not about this person has money, this one, that one. Yeah, we know money makes love sweet. But please, beyond the money, your peace of mind is very important. So the person will not really have money today. If the person has goals, honestly, you're going to have even much, much, much more than the money, and then you'll be smiling. Yeah, are you going to disagree? Yes, of course. But then it's not going to get to the one that you are fighting, and then you're killing yourself. Does not. So basically, I just think that people need to do much more when they're cutting or dating or whatever you want to call it. They need to do much more. Now, by the way, we will say red flags. I know a friend of mine, but I hope she's not. I don't know if she's on Twitter. But I know a friend of mine, but if she's there, I'm saying it with respect. I'm not calling anybody's name. Honestly, when we were all dating at the same time, dating, cutting at the same time, and honestly, I used to look at their own relationship, my own relationship needs it, because the Jews that should be telling me, now I'm like, hey, God, bro, which guy, where I go put my own head, when God they give it, where may I put my own head? But what I'm just trying to say is that the guy did not show some traits, but when they got married, the guy unleashed those traits. So sometimes, yes, you don't see those red flags. because this girl, we are all spiritual. What do we, as we know, we're looking for all these things. These ones are red flags. We not agree. This one, this one, this one. So, like, I know that she did not see those red flags. Else, she wouldn't have married the guy. I don't think that marriage even reached 2 years, and he descended on her one day. I don't know, because he had a miscarriage. So I don't know if the outcome of the miscarriage was what he didn't manage properly. I don't know. But so by the time she was pregnant for the other child, I don't know what happened, because I couldn't really ask her. But no matter what had happened, she didn't lay his hands on the lady. And I like the girl's family. They took her out of that situation. At least for the last time I know, she was still out of the situation. So basically, sometimes you don't see these things, but whoever you want to get down with, you want to be with, please let that person have someone in his or her circle that they respect. If you're going to marry someone that does not have anyone he or she respects, you're into a long thing. So please let them be someone that if the person says something, that person, the person will be scared, and then the person will listen, whether it's the woman or it's the man, because it's going to really stop a lot of things. So me, even if you carry me go school, you know, go tell me I can't give you my paycheck. I'm sorry, I can't do it. So do I believe that people should share responsibility? Absolutely. You should share responsibilities. Absolutely. And that is why people should discuss finance properly. Because money, they cause trouble for marriage. Even ordinary relationship, money, they cause trouble. Talk less marriage, money, they cause. So people should discuss finance very, very well. But no matter how you send someone, whatever you've done for the person, please don't put it at your behind your at the back of your mind that because you've done that thing, this person has to live like this and be your slave and all of that. You wouldn't even treat a slave like that. This 2020. Please, thank you. That's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maiwa. Very beautiful submission. Very beautiful, solid, solid. Don't expect that you are marrying a slave when it comes to relationship, because you have helped the person and then it's a slave. And of course, in relationship, look out for those. Not like you should be searching for red flags when you're in relationship. Not like you are actively setting, but pay attention. Pay attention. How does this person treat the sisters? How does this person treat the mom? How does this person treat his friends? Does this person have female friend? How does this person treat female friend? How does this who are his friends? Learn about the friends, because most likely the friendship, the circle of his friend, you will fall into that same circle, and most likely the same thing. Birds of the same feather they flock together. That's what they say. For example, when myself and my wife were cutting, my friends became our friends became my friend. Ordinarily, we had common friends before starting a relationship. Those he didn't know, she didn't know. I started taking that to them. Those I didn't know, she started moving me to them. I had to travel around, travel to Lagos, travel to this, travel to that to meet family members and stuff. It's very important. And the reason why you should, even whoever you are in a relationship with, don't just say, oh, it's just me and me alone and nothing. Some things you don't pick. Some people might pick it. And it is when they call your attention to it that you might start noticing those things. You may just see it as normal, but some people might pick it for you and let you know. So the courtship stage is very important. Don't just eat shawarmas with it. I don't know why I just talk on down on shawarma. Please, if you love shawarma, don't stop eating shawarma. It's not that shawarma causes breakups or whatever, but I just use that as an example. So it doesn't have to be ice cream all the time, ice cream, and then you are saying, how, she took me out, he took me out, he did this, and then all you talk is sex, blah, 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 and then there's no real content in the relationship. You need to know who this person is. And you need to know if this person is looking for a reward and saying, so I have married you, I have done all this, now it's your time to come and serve me, cook for me, bear my children, raise my children, do this for me, do this for me. And the person that for once did not even talk about your own future plans, career goals, whatever. The person does not even know if you have future plans, career goals that you want to pursue. Everything is just about the person, the person, the person. And I think this goes both ways. Rock, you have the floor. You can unmute yourself. Mr. Rock, TM, Rock trademark.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. You are audible, yes, you are.
Okay, so sincerely, this place, so I think I watched the video earlier yesterday, something just struck my mind. Guy.
There's a little background noise there. I think you are moving or something.
Oh yeah, I'm on the street. Okay. So I was like, can someone do this? But again, I had to look at it. Something led to this, and it caused a lot of ripple effect. And the guy just thought that, well, let me end it this way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I dropped something under your post for this particular space. And the reason why I said so is that, again, it's like we are digressing. You said females are not talking. But it occurs that the female, the women that are talking are the ones that are abroad, the ones that are woke, or let me say the ones that are learned, the ones that knows that there is right, the ones that knows right from wrong, the ones that will not sell themselves for visa. And I'm saying this because the ones on the streets of Nigeria, needs to weigh on this, and he gets why. Because on the streets, if you interview an average lady, once a man approaches them and they look at the person, maybe at first the person was, the normal behavior, like I don't agree, and they investigate and see that the guy just came from abroad, maybe from England, UK, US, Germany, Australia, even China. And they see that he will be going back in the next few months, and they're able to confirm it. Under 3 seconds, they will agree. They are no before we turn to yes. And this is the fact. I don't know. So that's why I said, with the way things are in Nigeria right now, it's like everyone is looking for an escape velocity. It's very sad that most of our females do not have, very few of them could use the scholarships that are available to Japa. Most they see this when a guy comes to them, they see it as an escape. In fact, even if they don't want to, their brother, their siblings, the family will mount pressure of them the moment they know that, man, what do you mean? Somebody that came from England is proposing to you, and you are saying no. And all sorts of threats will start coming, and you'll be surprised. These are family people that are supposed to hold value. It's unfortunate that you discover that there's no value, nothing, no value. They see that person immediately, such comes up, and there is a visa on the table as one of the perks. It now looks like a job. It now looks like an employment that a visa is part of the bonus, and that's how they see it. And that's why I would have loved the women that this speaks to come and weigh on this. What do they feel? So that the truth can be laid down. Because essentially, if we hold this and there's no avenue or they are not going on it, and that's why most people keep quiet about it. Because the fact is that even as we are speaking, as some have seen the video and seen it, they will say, that's all. And of course, someone, this same video was posted on Facebook. I don't know if I can search this and screenshot some very, very horrible comments that will actually do justice to what I'm actually saying. You need to see comments that, of course, he married the lady from Nigeria, and then the lady don't get sense now. So waiting. So it's like the guys are being used as a tunnel. They are being used as an escape route to abroad and to the abroad. And when they get there, and they now get enlightened, it's now time to, and they now get to, especially when they now know about the laws about that, okay, even if you divorce, you are most likely going to take a larger percentage or even 50% of what the man has worked for. And of course, I don't think there is an African man, so I don't know how this will look to the whites. But an African will prefer to hand everything and hand everybody. In fact, some that have house will prefer to even burn the house and burn themselves, and nobody, nothing
And it's sad that things have to go south, things have to go that way. And that's just it. It's very, very sad. I don't know if I still have the opportunity, I'll go to the Facebook and see if I can search, because I read it and I got annoyed. I left that post on Facebook. You need to see young lady, in fact, a married woman was confirming that, look, my useless husband here in Nigeria that is good for nothing. If I see a guy that is Euro bound, that is going abroad, I will abandon the fool and go. So you can imagine some hot tracks. You can imagine. Now, such a woman, she's ready to abandon the 2 kids and the husband, and the man is somewhere working to see how he can better the family, and you can imagine such. And the woman is not just scared that someone that knows her can see that comment and go and report it. And I don't know how to do this like this. So it is what it is. And well, we can't continue blaming government. There is need for self-awareness. There is need to enlighten people. There is need to drag people out of this barbaric, this poverty way of reasoning. Because me, I see that poverty. People of how someone trade his or her dignity for visa. And that's it.
Thank
anyway,
you.
Thank you for the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Rock. You have raised serious issues, and I think Mayowa has a response for you. So let's hear from her. Mayowa, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you. So you said, I would start with something you said recently. You said that the useless husband. I'm sorry. I didn't know as I got talk to you, so I'm sorry. But the truth is, some husbands are actually useless. I'm very sorry. But really, some men are actually useless. Now, the thing is, when I was growing up, I was privileged to grow up around certain families. And honestly, I'm just going to say something. Once a man disrespects himself in front of a woman, you cannot redeem that respect. You work hard to get it. So if the woman is saying the man is useless, it's probably useless. That's why she's saying he's useless. So you don't know what the man is doing. You don't know the things that he has done. Now, I'm not justifying that, but I'm just trying to say that some men are useless, just the way some women are actually useless. I've seen women that in their husband's house, they are going to sleep with another person. That person is useless. Because if she's pregnant, how will she know the father of the child? I know someone that I grew up with. By the time I was still in the north, they did not know her father. The mother gave her to one Hausa man. That man kept saying that he's not the father. When we were still in Zaria, growing up in Zaria, another man came from Akure and said that he's the father. And that day my mom sat her down and said, okay, tell us this. And she now confessed to my mom that truly, that time she was dating both of them, and she does not know who the father of the girl is. But she just had to work the girl on the Hausa man. No, they did not take DNA test. Well, that is before those days. And I want to believe that they've still not taken it. Now it's that girl, that innocent girl, is the one at fault. So the way some men are useless, some women too are useless. Because when you're doing useless things, you're useless. That's just the truth. So the person that's already in a relationship that the partner, they are useless to themselves, or one is useless. My mom advice is people should learn that when you're already with someone, that the person is useless, they should walk out of the marriage. Because that is how they'll be getting angry with themselves. They will now have what they call it. I've forgotten what to say. Before you hear anything, you're hearing that somebody is pouring kerosene, burning the other. Some things don't just make sense. And I think it's just the society that we have that people don't want to. People stigmatize people that are divorced. They do, especially when the person is a woman. So you have our religious community, the normal community doing all of that. So the person is already saying that her spouse is useless. Why she's still in the place? Now that's by the way. And we also know that this culture of people trying to japa by all means is also bad. See, I go to all these YouTube work. Some people just know that they do not even love the person. So some people is even the woman looking for DV. She's just looking for domestic violence so that she just leave that thing and have her own pally and just stay in their bush. She does not maybe want to come back to. Some people is visiting that they took them to, but they don't want to come back. And they just learned different gimmicks to just cause one. It's the one that will go and look for DV herself, cause DV. And they know that most of these Western countries, they are on the side of the woman. Just toxic DV. I'm not saying that there is no DV. I'm just saying that it is for the men. It is also for the woman. And I would say 1,000,000 times that yes, some men are actually useless and some women are actually useless. That's it. So one is if they are useless to themselves, they should just leave the marriage. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mao. Rock, before you respond, I just want to echo the same sentiment that this can be on both sides. And number one, for the particular story of the man, we cannot know exactly what has happened because we have only heard from the man some of the things he was saying in anger, frustration, and probably regret during the 911 call. We have just heard some of those things which he has said. The lady who can say the other side of the story is already dead. We can't know the story except maybe family members or whatever. But on a general sense, we can all agree that yes, some men are not doing well, and yes, some women are not doing well. I've I know situations in marriages where the men, you just know that this is trash, and I've seen situations in marriage where you just see the woman do something and I'll be like, woman, you are wicked. So it's on both sides. And then, of course, I agree. Desperation to jackpot should not be there and just say, "Let me just use this person to as a stepping stone to their abroad," and you go and give testimony, and then you leave the person and all that. So, Rock, quickly, you want to respond to that?
Yeah, so thank you, Maiwa. In fact, I am in total support of your submission, 100%. In fact, I like the way you made it clear that essentially fine for a woman to alter such. Of course, something must have gone underlined, and but you also made. I like it that you also made the statement that so when the woman is dying, when the man is dying, yes, just detach, file the divorce, or make it known, separate, and let everybody cut their loss, go your separate way. Instead of what, because such a relationship, for a woman to alter such on Facebook, where everybody will see, then she probably not cared that someone that knows her or the man himself in question or his friends or family will see it. So to avoid another case of this gospel woman, Osirachi, or what they call her, that the husband beat her to the, they should just separate. That's just it. And I like your submission about that. And another thing that you said that I like is that fine, people are just the old Jaffa stuff is becoming like a rat race. And very soon, I don't know, it's very sad because, but I know for sure that in this country, once something just gets caught fire, once something becomes woke, once a particular trend becomes popular, people will start devising all sorts of means that will cause chaos. They will start devising a lot of things. We will start hearing news of missing human beings, people that were promised abroad and they took them for ritual and others. We'll start hearing. I just pray it doesn't generate, but I've stayed long enough in this country to know that once anything becomes a reign of the moment, evil people takes advantage because they know once they mention that thing, people cannot resist their urge. They will just dip their leg into it without thinking. And that is the country we live in. Anyway, thank you for the opportunity once again.
All right, thank you, Rock. Before I let the next speaker speak, Lord, but before I let you speak, I just remember the story of a guy, and this is one of the submissions I want to give. I remember a guy came to my DM and was asking about advice for on relationship, and it's about the kind of lady she wants to marry. She's not educated, and she loves someone who is educated, but she loves the girl. And the girl, she has told the girl, "Will you get educated?" And the girl said, "Yes, she will get educated," and all those things. And she wants to support and all those stuff. While, as much as possible, I believe in love, I also believe that when you want to get married, when you're looking forward to marry, Someone in your class is okay. It's just like the age. When we talk about age, you don't want to marry someone who is in another generation. When you go in line with someone who is in another class when it comes to education, so you guys are worlds apart. There will be clashes of ideas, of values, and all those things. And let's say you spend money in that sense, and then you spend money to educate this person, you lift this person out of whatever, and then the person gets education, and then you took the person is also interested in Japa, and you took the person, and then it becomes exact situation. And when issues happen in marriage, and then you keep on going to the fact that I brought you to this America, I paid, if not for me, you will not be this today. If not for the lady too, will not like it, and then the lady too keeps responding, and things happen, and then the lady want to show you that she can show you Pepe, and threatens you with police, with 911, threatens you with all sorts, and you become angry, get a gun, blah blah, and things happen. I think all these things can be stopped at the stage of aligning values. I think it was Titi Lokwe who mentioned that the values must align. I agree totally. Loba, you have the floor. You can speak.
Thank you very much. Our host, actually, I've been trying to meet to. I have a lot of my friends back then in campus that is your friend also in the United States. So some of them are also in Canada. So I know you, but I don't. I know you through my friends, but I know you don't know me.
In
so
from Nigeria?
yes, yes, yes.
You attended UI?
Mostly they are mostly in Texas now,
Oh, okay. Wow,
and
that's
some
cool.
of them come out.
We
Yeah.
can talk
So
back door
I
after
studied.
this.
I also yes, yes. I also studied physics. So it's one of the reason why I got.
Mhm.
So first, I had a similar experience, and actually, it's not it's not a proud thing for me to. I mean, that cost it was this same issue. At the time, my wife then was telling me that if I had not married you, I imagine what your life could be. I thought it's a joke. So they really clean, and it's not like it's just that at a time of my life I wasn't providing enough. It's not that I wasn't providing at all. And we both live in Nigeria here. Thank God that when I proposed that we should move out of the country, when the road jackpot thing was before it started trending at all. Thank God that she really uh, agreed to that. Maybe something else must have happened. So there's presently now a friend of mine, a lady actually, she's in Texas. I quickly checked if she's on listener, so I can say that she's not on listener. So that's why the reason why I want to say this thing. He's not dating a guy in Nigeria. Then some of the time when me and I is talking, the next thing she'll be saying is, but boy, that the guy is a nice guy, but just that he doesn't have money. I don't notice that the trend is already getting much in our conversation, the kind of thing that she normally says, especially downgrading the guy because the guy doesn't have money. So at the time I was so rude. I said, come babe, I don't know the guy. In fact, I became friends with the guy through her. So and I've not even met the guy one-on-one in Nigeria yet. So I said, you know, there are questions that you are asked that you are supposed to be asking, but you are not asking it. Is this guy, do you people have a value system that align? Does he have values inside it that can recreate, that can produce money over time? And if you keep on having this mentality like, the guy is a nice guy, he doesn't have a job, but just that he doesn't have money. So, and you really go into that extent of, as in, this guy doesn't have money, and the only thing I'm valuing inside is a nice guy. I said, there are more to life than that, because at the end of it all, when you start having that mentality, there's a way that you build a bridge, and it will affect the relationship. Thank God that I see those things, and she started seeing the relationship in a brighter view. So I think there's one of the speakers that made mention of so many things that I really agree with. But the truth is, if you are dating someone and with the person is of lower class to you, and you are trying to, and another problem is this also.
Some of the time when you try to upgrade someone to your class and the person become exposed, the question is, would the person backstab you in the future and say, now I'm exposed and other things, because it happens too. Apart from before someone can say that, for instance, that I made you do well, probably there are some corresponding action that have come out of the person. And life is not a straightforward thing, but the most important thing is that marry someone that is kind. That's just it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We will end this space in the next 15 minutes thereabout. I just want to say that so that if you want to request the mic, you can request as soon as possible. But I think we have been able to establish very important points here. And I tell you, the story that Luomo shared is still in my heart, still on my head. I can't get it off. You brought someone from Nigeria and the person jackpot from Nigeria, and after 4 months, the person jackpot from your marriage. And then you lost you started losing everything. You lost your job. You lost everything. It's sad. It's a very sad story. I want to say it. If you are marrying, marry for love. Don't just if you want to marry even from US too. I know people say there are no husbands in the US, there are no wives in the US. Let it be based on love. For me personally, if I want to say, um, if I want to look at it the way it should be, or some people who had relationships before leaving Nigeria. I mean, I know friends who had relationships before leaving Nigeria, and they brought their wife after they settled in the US, and then things are moving on fine. But the way some people go about it is like they just tell some family members that I'm looking for a wife. Oh, if you find any wife, please do this and that, help me. And then uh, those family members just throw it open to that. I have a cousin in UK, he's looking for a wife, and someone say, oh, I'm interested. Someone you've never met before, someone you've never done blah blah. And the person comes home and does introduction, does all those things, wedding, and then they leave. These things are not based on real foundations that can last. Of course, we've had our forefathers do what do we call this type of marriage where they don't know each other. I forgot what they call it again. I can't remember the name they call it. Where they just marry, they just give you the wife and say this is your wife, and they live happily ever after. But these days things cannot work that way because we have people. That time, ladies or women were seen as properties, materials, home properties. Let them just be at home, take care of the wife, take care of the home, take care of the children, and that's all. And they are contented. But these days, everyone, thank God for the feminist movement. Everyone wants equal pay, equal treatment. Everyone has been liberated. They have their job. They are going for their job. They are working. They are working 12 hours. You are working 12. Both of you are tired. So you don't come home and say, what have you been doing since morning that you have not cooked? And then you say, oh, I want fresh food every morning, this and that. And you say, oh, I'm an African man. I don't eat frozen stuff and all those stuff. I mean, these are real issues. These are real issues you will face in this world of now. So, in this world where we are in presently, so marriage should be on the basic foundation, the right foundation. It's very, very important. Know who you are marrying, not just a recommendation from someone. Oh, I have a sister, blah blah blah. Even if there is a recommendation, develop. Let there be time to know each other. So it's very important. You don't know if the intent of the person. The person just want to jackpot, or the person just want to do this, just want the place where there's liberation. You don't know the intent of the man too. Maybe the man is looking for a slave, just someone who will take care of me. That's all. I know one husband who was telling the wife that, see, you should just resign your job. Once you resign, that was it. This one is even Nigeria. This one, the marriage that is not up to 1 year, even at that time, resign your job. Once you resign your job, just give birth to children. They will just transfer me somewhere. I'll be coming to check you home. Maybe I'll be sending money, and I'll be coming to check you home maybe every three months, or blah 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 blah. See such situations. So you don't know the intent of that some might have in mind. Messi, you have the floor. You can speak quickly. Let's hear what you have to say. Messi. Okay, it seems Messi is having trouble with.
Hello, good evening, everybody. My own submission is this. When a man and a woman are married and living in the States or in Nigeria, we should understand how women are wired. Women, from their main wiring, how God created them, they were not created to take care of family or to shoulder the responsibility of paying fees for the kids, house rent, and all that. So the moment you get like that, there's only a limit to what a woman can endure as far taking care of the family and shouldering the financial responsibility of the family. When it gets to that extent and the thing becomes too much and the man is not forthcoming, the woman can easily get frustrated and it's cause a friction in the relationship or the marriage. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to say is this. The man should try as much as he can to be forthcoming, no matter how small. Let it not be a one-sided thing because you help the woman is now outside the country, suddenly you lost your vibe of hustling to take care of your home, and suddenly because you have invested maybe $1 or $2 few $1,000 or now in the past, you just relegate yourself to the background and want her to sit down and start taking care of the whole family thing and taking full responsibility and paying the bills. It will cause a lot of friction. It's going to be very frustrating to her. Few women will be able to stand such thing. And no matter how small your own contribution is, bring it to the table. Instead of folding your hands and expecting the woman to do everything and using jackpot to blackmail her. I brought you into the country. Thank you. Deputy Jesus. Did you create her? So those are the things. That's just my own submission. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Messi. You said Deputy Jesus. That was very funny. Okay, Queen Ita, let's have you quickly. Queen Ita, I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Yeah, hello, you pronounced it correctly.
Okay.
Good evening. I just wanted to add, you said people should marry for love, but recently the few books are kind of, on this self-development, everybody's saying love is not enough. So I don't know. I want you to throw more light on what you actually mean there.
Okay. Yeah. So when I say love, I'm putting everything together. All I'm trying to say is don't marry for the wrong reasons. Now we have seen so many reasons that people get married for. For example, Japa is one reason why people want to get married. And when you get into the relationship, you discover this person is not someone you can cope with. So when I'm saying marry for love, I'm saying someone you can cope with, someone you are comfortable with, someone you can live with, someone you can trust your life with, not someone you have doubts for and then you still want to go with the person because the person has promised to take you out of the country. Okay. And don't marry just for the person to take care of you financially. Such things don't end well. What you have done is just to give the total power to the person, and then the person is responsible for you, for everything about you, and the person can do and undo. The person can off you or on you, whichever way. Okay, so when I say marry for love, I'm saying don't marry for the wrong reasons. Marry someone you love, marry someone you feel comfortable with, marry someone you are compatible with, marry someone you have everything we have been mentioning, values align, someone who, and then we've also mentioned things you should look out for, someone who as people is answerable to, okay, not someone who is a lone ranger, not someone who is just standing alone and has no one that can correct him, or those are the things we mean. It's just saying don't marry for the wrong reasons. Many people got into the bondage of marriage because no, and I'm using the word bondage of marriage carefully because marriage is not a bondage, but in some situation it will be bondage to some people. They got into that bondage because they someone just said, oh, there's this guy is abroad and then he wants a wife, he wants to settle down now. Are you interested? And the only thing that motivated you is abroad. And then you jackpot from Nigeria, you jackpot from the marriage, or you're trying to jackpot from the marriage and things happen and then you find now someone gave an example that brought the person from Nigeria, then seized the passport. Okay, that is an extreme for me. You just brought someone from Nigeria and you seize the person's passport, that the person will not run away or what. So we are just saying marry for the right reasons, not for the wrong reasons. Okay, and I personally believe in love. I believe yes, love exists. And then people say love is not enough, but I believe when you love someone, there are things you will do for that person. Love is sacrificing. Love is self-giving. Love is kind. Love is patient. Love is everything. Okay, when you love someone, you can go to any extent. You can sacrifice anything for such person. That is what I understand love to be. Love does not necessarily have to be the emotions alone. No, love can be a decision too. It doesn't have to be just the emotions, the chemistry. The chemistry alone is not just love. Sometimes chemistry will fade away. What happens when chemistry fade away? What do you bank on? Okay, and of course, I believe in God. I believe in God's leading. I believe in God's direction. When those chemistry fade away, when those feelings fade away, because marriage will not always be ha ha ha. Times will come when you will have to make bold, important decisions. When both of you are on fire, like and you have to make a decision to move forward. Times will come like that. It's not all go to. You see, social media can be very deceptive. I mean, people have beautiful marriage, good marriages, but people won't tell you on social media times when they had to quarrel to make a decision. Okay, people won't tell. When I was leaving Nigeria, the first time I tried to apply to universities in the US, my wife was pregnant with our boy at that time, and I got the admission, but I didn't get funding. But I was already getting some people who were willing to be a sponsor and all those stuff. Hey, first class student, this and that, let's sponsor. And I was already getting those stuff. And my wife was saying, that you can go, that just go. For me, it was a tough decision. Like, how will I leave my pregnant wife if she's about to give birth and this? Eventually, I decided not to go, and I had to wait 1 year, and I left. So there are the times when you have to make tough decisions. Where should we stay? Where should we buy something or not? Someone in-laws will come to play in marriages. Who are we sending money to? How are you spending your money? How am I spending my money? We want to invest in a business. How many percent are we investing? Sometimes these decisions don't come easily. They come heated, like in an argument. Not argument, but in a debate. That's the word I will use. Even little issues in marriage if you ask people who are married when their child is sick, how much stress they go through. When their child is ordinary that the child is sick, oh, this drug, this skinny come, we want to see this doctor. It's stress. Everything will not just be rosy, 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 and all. There will be situations where what keeps you going is your conviction. What keeps you going is the fact that you know that love is not all about the chemistry, not all about the beautiful feelings. Love can be a decision that I love this person. So when I say marry for love, I'm saying don't marry for the wrong reasons. The wrong reasons of like, yes, I want to jackpot. Yeah, he's a rich guy. Oh, he has money. He hands in dollars. He does this and that. Marry for the right reasons. So social media has made people see life in a different way, but it's not always like that. People post good pictures on Twitter, on what do we call it, Instagram. People post good pictures. If I try to snap pictures and the pictures are not good, I delete those pictures. You don't see them online. When I take pictures of some things at home, you don't see them online. I post online good pictures. Sometimes I put bad pictures too anyway. But all I'm saying is life is not all as being painted on social media. Now you see people going to the beach. People don't go to the beach every day. You see people going for a yacht ride or whatever. People don't do that every day. People do it maybe once in a year, or they do it once in 2 or 3 years. But you have just seen it online once, and you feel like, my husband must be able to do that, and you are going off for the money. No, it has to be for the right reasons. People don't go on vacation to Paris every day and all those stuff. People work 20, 12 hours a day. People work 14 hours a day. People do a lot of stuff. Okay, so love is very important. That's where I see it. Loba, you want to quickly say something, then after Loba, Oga Ann will talk after Loba. So Loba, quickly. Quinita, I
Yeah,
believe,
sorry.
did I answer your question, Quinita?
Yeah, you did. Thank you very much. You
You're
did.
very much welcome. All right, Loba.
Yeah, I want to really paint a very big scenario. Like you make mention of like what's it called? Big sacrifices that is necessary in marriage before you can. I mean, that comes as a result of love. I can. I don't even know where I will start from. But okay, like for instance, I had a scholarship. Like I wanted to move, or let me even start from. Let me just quickly brief on the beginning of our marriage. What happened is that I sat her down and said, "Come, I decided to do my masters." Back then, I've not even secured any scholarship at all. So I told her, I say, please, can we? Now we have married. Thank God we don't. There's no baby before marriage. So can we just use this year to stabilize ourselves financially? And she insisted, say, no, that if she wants to get married, I mean, she wants to give back, she wants to do this, she wants to. I say, please, there are some things that we need to put on ground in order for us, for the children to have a soft landing also. It's not about that you want to give back now. When the argument became intense in the home, so I have to succumb to our request. So, and as at then, she was working in the bank. So, to cut long story short, he got another job with another company. So that was the early time of our marriage, as in just few months after our marriage. And as at that time, she has already.
Loba, it seems we have lost you there. Um, it seems we have lost you, Loba. Okay. Okay. Let's have Organ speak. If we have you back, Loba, we will receive you. Organ, you have the floor.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Samuel, thank you very much. Good evening, guys. Whatever you are. I am really trying to, add a little bit to this conversation because it's more like a continuation from where I dropped off with a friend, earlier yesterday, and we're discussing this whole marriage, come abroad thing, man and woman. Now, just for a quick, summary of what I have in my head about this whole conversation. Number one, eh, the buck is on the table of the man. You see, because if a marriage is to from the impulse the woman made, the man is the one who made the primary decision to get married. It wasn't the woman. If there's anywhere in the world women make decision to get married to a man, it's not from around Nigeria or wherever we're coming from. The majority of the decisions were made by the man. So the success of a marriage solely lies on the shoulder of a man. And that's why before a man decides to get married, you must sort out yourself thoroughly before you decide to go carry a woman. Because number one, marriage is a sentence. So I don't need to explain, the legal, implications of when somebody says a sentence. It's a confinement, and in confinement, you play by the rule. It's harsh, but that's the way it is. A lot of people come into marriage and feel it's a setting where you can have or do whatever you like. In marriage, you don't do whatever you like. If you want that marriage to actually succeed, if you're not humble, you need to humble yourself. You need to take things the way you see them and try as much as possible to make it better. Two, when it comes to finance in the marriage, the man carries the responsibility. You're not getting married to share it 50-50. There's no room for 50-50 when it comes to funding that home. It is your sole responsibility. If your wife is helping you, it's a plus. And you must lavishly appreciate her for putting in any financial help into that marriage. Forget whatever you feel or whatever you know. When it comes to taking care of that home financially, the buck is on your table. And that's where a lot of men, get it wrong. Even if you guys have moved abroad, everybody's working 12 hours, and all that, she's making more than yourself. Have it behind your mind that if the family is going to survive on £2,000, $2,000 every month, it's your responsibility to bring that £2,000 or dollars and put it on the table. If she says, okay, take back 1K, you thank her and you move on. That way you will save your marriage and save yourself unnecessary stress. Stop building your financial plan on what your wife is bringing to the table. If you keep doing that, you will stress yourself out, you will stress your wife out, and of course you will break the marriage. Because if you follow the statistics, finance is one of the major standing reasons why a lot of marriage and relationship do not work. And people, again, just want to, because you see this topic is so in depth, you can't write it off in one conversation. Lastly, marriage for love is true, but love is built up of so many. It's a composite of so many elements. If there's no patience, if there's no endurance, if there's no understanding in that thing you call marriage, in that thing you call love, it's not love. It's something totally different. So if you come into a home where probably you meet a lady, you don't love her, but you try to be patient with her, you're very understanding to her plights. These things, you're kind. If you have these qualities, trust me, your marriage will last longer. Because these are the things that make marriage last, not this love thing we always talk about or sing about. If you look at marriages that have lasted, check, you see a lot of patience, a lot of endurance, a lot of understanding, kindness, perseverance. These are the things that. So if you go into marriage, you're not humble, in fact, you are a proud individual, you're not patient, you want things to go your way, you always, my brother, marriage will not work. So I just want to end it here, because I know a lot of people have had conversations over and over about this in this particular forum, but the truth remains, these things are the things that hold marriage together. It's a confinement. You can't do anything, you can't do whatever you like in marriage. Have it that way in your mind. And I think that covers most of the things that people have issues with. Finally, if you're doing anything for a woman, do it as though you're doing it as let's say a grant, or you're doing a scholarship. Don't in your mind, don't feel like you're expecting something in return. If you want to send a woman abroad, do it and take your mind off. Do it as per you're doing charity. Because if you start doing it and in one part of your head, you're thinking, this woman is going to appreciate me when she comes, things will be fine. My brother, you will fail. That's the truth. So do it as by you're doing charity, or you're doing one, do it that way. If you see a young girl who is in school, you want to train her through school, do it. Don't expect marriage in return or love in return. Do it as though you're doing charity. If you want to bring your wife abroad, do it because you love her. Do it because you want her to grow. Bring her abroad and move on. If she appreciates it, glory be to God. If she doesn't, move on. These are the things. It's too much expectation. And that's what I'm directing this to men, because a lot of men need to sort out your ego issues. When it comes to these things, you need to sort yourself out. If you want to help woman, come on your mind. But if you want to help woman and you're expecting one thing from the other thing from one, you will fail. And it's going to cause a lot of friction. These are the issues. Women are not always available to help you. The few who do, these are exceptions. Very, very big lesson. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for your submission. Though I agree with many things you said, except that I believe that marriage is a responsibility of both parties. If we are both in a marital relationship, we are both responsible for the success or the failure of the marriage. And if money is part of the things that make marriage successful, I think we should both be responsible. I remember if you look at the US situation, for example, a man cannot come and say, especially if you are not earning that much, you're an average earner, you can't come and say, I will be responsible for everything. The responsibility will kill you if your wife's input is not there, because you have to pay for your house rent, you pay for utilities. Sometimes you use utilities. So that means if you are the one paying for utilities, you'll be monitoring how your wife is using water in the kitchen, in the bedroom, in the kitchen, everywhere. You say, you are using too much water. Don't use hot water, use cold water. You'll be measuring how much it goes to the toilet, because you don't want to pay too much utilities. So it's a lot of responsibility. You want to pay, you be the one paying insurance, even house insurance, you be the one paying insurance for 2 cars, you be the one fueling both cars. No, I believe it's what both parties should participate in, not just put it on one person. Before I allow new people to come, Maya, it seems you want to respond to some of the things you said. Please quickly before I take other people.
Okay, yes, you've touched on one that is the responsibility. But I get what he's trying to say. But in some clients, it might not be the way it's saying. But anyway, I understand what he's trying to say. He's not saying that the woman shouldn't be. It's just like do not expect so much. But then what I just want to say is that he was saying that if you help woman. You see, this thing is because now we're hearing that because of the topic, men that killed and all of that. There are also women that have sacrificed for their men, and the woman too. The man did that anyhow. So please, when we are saying these things, please, irrespective of the topic, please let's not make it look like it's just the women that can be so ingrate. We have men like that after everything has been done, they'll go and marry, they'll do this, they'll do all of that. But at the end of the day, I like what you said. Anything someone wants to do, just do it. Don't say because you've done that thing, you expect that I'll take my pound of flesh. No. So basically, that's what I want to say.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vicky, you can speak now. You have the floor, Vicky. Vicky, you have the floor. You can speak. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello, Vicky.
Oh, okay. So, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Vicky.
Okay, I just want to add a few. I feel like most Nigerian men, they go for the naive women that are not, empowered, enlightened, and eventually when they take them out of the country, they start to. I feel like to every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So I would say women are very reactive to emotional abuse. So imagine you get married to a naive girl, you take her out of the country and you start misbehaving. You start living your life like you're not married. And then these women, they start making friends. They start listening to outsiders. They start going to school. They start realizing that they deserve better. And then they start demanding for better. And then the men start feeling like, oh, she has changed, she has this, she has that, she's no longer submissive. But what they do not understand is that all those times they've been neglected, those things compound. And women are very reactive. Whatever they do, you do to them. As long as they stop loving you, they will multiply it by 3. So personally, me, I got married in Nigeria. I moved to probably Ghana with my husband. And then I was that naive girl. Very, very naive. I studied pharmacy, so I was not an illiterate. So I knew I was just going to come to Ghana and probably write the exam and start practicing. My husband is not a bad person. He's actually amazing.